So Bruno Mars is one of those, along with Brandon Anderson, Christopher Brown, and Durance Emile II. Best New Artist went to Olivia Rodrigo. She's a lovely young girl.
She's a lovely young gal. She had kind of a thing that always made her look like she was perpetually crying.
Oh,
but
really?
It was makeup.
Yeah.
It was under her eyes.
I did not know that.
This girl's very sad, and then I realized it was some sort of makeup.
Let's see. Best Pop Vocal Album went to her, Sour, for Olivia Rodrigo. The Best Pop Solo Performance went to Olivia Rodrigo for Driver's License. Lovely young girl,
Lovely,
of course, yes.
You know, always looks like she's crying. But did I mention that already?
I think I heard that somewhere. Best Pop Duo Group Performance went to Doja Cat featuring SZA.
SZA.
Yeah.
SZA. And I think that's probably a reference to SZA Sisters.
Oh, my God.
It's sort of a lesbian act where it's sort of almost a yoga pose.
Legs.
They connect their crotches.
I got you.
Maybe she was a barber or a hairstylist.
I don't know.
It could be. It could be.
Best traditional pop vocal album went to Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, Love for Sale. I think we have a clip of pre-taped Tony Bennett intros.
Yes. And so when you hear when she's singing, Preston, as she gets introduced, she sings, and she's a fantastic singer.
Yeah.
She's very lovely.
Yes.
She's very, I don't know if she's ever done that SZA thing I was mentioning before.
But Tony's image is popping up and it catches her for a second.
Okay, here we go.
Perfect. Please welcome Lady Gaga.
Dreaming of Tony, I composed a tune just as you long.
This is when she gets a little emotional here.
Yeah, right.
Lady Gaga has become like she's caring for the older guard with this thing with Liza Minnelli the other night.
I love it.
It's great.
To have respect for what has happened before you. If you don't have that, you're missing out on a lot. And she clearly, and by the way, she takes the art form and raises the bar again.
She
She's
does.
Tremendous.
Yeah, she's very special. Yeah. Best alternative music album went to Daddy's Home from St. Vincent.
Daddy's Home!
As far as, and then the other rock categories here for you. Best rock performance went to Foo Fighters for Making a Fire. Best rock song went to Waiting on a War, and that's, of course, Foo Fighters, and the whole band is mentioned as songwriters, so they get credit, everybody does. Best rock album went to Foo Fighters for Medicine at Midnight, and best metal performance went to Dream Theater for The Alien.
That's pretty cool. Dream Theater getting a Grammy.
Yeah. I wonder if I do not know their history of the Grammy Awards and if they've won before. And then best country album went to Chris Stapleton. I think we have a clip of that, right?
Yeah.
All right, here's that.
I'm a dad of 5, and today is my twins' birthday. They're 4 years old, so I thank you. So I'm thinking a lot about sacrifices. I think because I missed out on some of their birthday today. So, and everybody in this room has made some kind of a sacrifice to be up here doing this. And I don't know what it is for everybody, but I know that it hurts sometimes, but hopefully we're all doing it so that we make the world a better place, and the people that live in it will love each other and have a good time together and come together.
I want to say to my twins, whose birthday I'm missing today, that if you come on up and hug the TV, it'll feel warm, almost like I'm there, but I'm not. Here.
He also won Best Country Solo Performance with You Should Probably Leave.
I like that.
You should probably leave right about now, I think.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Y'all ain't from around here, are you? You should probably leave. No, I have no idea what the song's about. All right, so anyway, those are the Grammys in a nutshell. I have a couple other things to touch on quickly.
Let's do it.
If we'll move along here. So Will Smith announced on Friday that he is resigning from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. In his resignation, Smith said that he is heartbroken, adding that he would like to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to to the incredible work it does to support creativity and artistry in film. He said, so I am resigning from the membership in the Academy of the Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate.
So I think really what this does is it just eliminates his ability to vote.
That's what I was going to ask.
That's it.
So that's it.
That's it.
Well,
he can still use the poll, and he gets invited to the mixers.
I've got a list of the things that this means at the end of this.
All
So he said, change takes time, and I am committed to doing the work to ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason. The decision means
So far, not going so well.
Smith will no longer be a voting member of the Academy. As it stands, he will still retain his Oscar for Best Actor. He can be nominated for future consideration by the Academy and can still be invited to future ceremonies. David Rubin, the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, confirmed that the Academy has received and accepted Smith's resignation. Disciplinary proceedings against the actor for violating the standards of conduct will still take place during the Academy's upcoming board meeting. That'll be on April 18th. But yeah, for the most part, Steve, that's pretty much it, is that he will not be able to vote. He can still be nominated. However, they may consider
rescinding the award.
Yeah, but I mean, down the road for future performances, kind of leaving him out if they want to, you know.
They could subtly do that. I would say this is that he's doing a lot of preemptive. I think he is hoping, he's praying that they do not take that Oscar back.
Yep. And by the way, he's also dealing with a little aftermath in that Netflix has put a hold on the film Fast and Loose, which Smith was set to star in, while Sony has done the same for Bad Boys 4. So they're kind of, well, I think it's probably a cooling off period.
Right, and then they'll go back to
More than likely. Steve, you mentioned Hope.
Yes.
Well, Hope Solo is in the entertainment news. I put this in here. Man.
That's our text chain over the weekend made me laugh when that came
this
through.
gal, she was, listen to this. So I was like, oh, wow. Because she's been in trouble before.
That's true, Preston. I tried to DM her butthole over the weekend.
Oh, my God.
How'd that go?
The account was suspended.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Because I follow at Hope Solo's butthole.
I see.
Yeah, but she did make a statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's her butthole anyway. Listen, now this is serious. So she was
Yeah.
arrested Thursday in Winston-Salem. Police said Solo was arrested in a Walmart parking lot, charged with impaired driving, resisting arrest. You gasped when I said Walmart
Well,
parking lot.
because she wasn't even driving?
No. She was charged with impaired driving, resisting arrest, and misdemeanor child abuse.
Oh, geez.
They said her 2 children were in the car at the time of the incident. You didn't read the story? Okay.
No, I just laughed at the headline and someone's comment that said, I wonder what her butthole thinks.
Yeah, so listen to this. According to court documents, the officer reported seeing Solo passed out in the car with the engine running and her 2 children in the car.
Oh, God.
The officer said they could smell alcohol. So she was drunk and passed out with the car running with kids in the car.
That
bad,
blotto
dude.
with kids in the car. Yeah. Thank God she was at a stop.
She refused a breathalyzer, so I don't know how intoxicated she was. And she was processed and then released from the detention center with a written promise to return to court. So
troubled history with Hope Solo.
Yeah, it's too
Her
bad.
butthole, though, stays on the up and up.
It's squeaky.
Yeah.
clean.
It was at a 4-H club meeting.
This was sad to see. The beloved Seinfeld star Estelle Harris passed away on Saturday in Palm Desert, California. She died of natural causes weeks before her 94th birthday. Actually, today is her birthday. Yeah. So her son Glenn Harris told the publication her kindness, passion. See, she played She played George's mom,
and also Mrs. Potato Head.
She was the voice of Mrs. Potato Head in Toy Story. But her son told the publication her kindness, passion, sensitivity, humor, empathy, and love were practically unrivaled, and she will be terribly missed by all those who knew her.
Preston, I was grabbing the clip of her from the Toy Story movies, kind of a montage of clips. You just start laughing because her character was so much fun, and she did it so well.
Here's her. Well, let's play the Potato Head clips, Casey. Here we go.
I can't find my other eye.
Oh, you found it! Oh, it's so nice to have a big, strong spot around the house. Oh, you saved their life. Oh, my hero. And they're so adorable. Let's adopt them.
I'm packing you an extra pair of shoes and your angry eyes, just in case. And if you get hungry, here's some cheese puffs and a key. I don't know what it's for, but you never know. And a golf ball, if you have time for golf. And a plastic steak. And and a rubber ducky and a yo-yo and a dime, call me, and monkey chow.
Monkey chow? For what?
Well, for the monkeys, of course.
I love that. Here's her from Seinfeld.
Hello?
Ma, I'm getting married.
Oh, my God, you're getting married?
Yes.
Oh, I can't believe it. Frank, come here. Georgie's getting married. Is she pretty?
Yes, she's pretty. What difference does it make?
Well, I'm just curious. Let me talk to her.
Hello? I just want you to know that I love your son very much.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
May I ask why?
Oh, man. She lived a nice, long life, though. She would have been 94 years old today.
Yeah, yeah.
sad.
Very
Yep.
talented.
Yep. Let me see here. You know what? We need to.
We do.
We gotta skip into
Santa's gotta go.
the clip. Santa's got to go. We got a lot on the show today.
Santa's got to go.
Let's.
It never fails to get you to laugh.
Ian Harding plays assistant coach for a female collegiate basketball team in the new drama series Long, Slow, Exhale. And in this clip, Ian explains what he learned from his role.
That's the whole thing that I didn't really consider about, sort of sports and collegiate sports was what is the responsibility like sort of off the field, off the court. And also I didn't really know much about women's college basketball. And so I went and I met with an assistant coach over at Georgia Tech.
I don't give a
Long, Slow, Exhale premieres tonight on Spectrum TV. Here's the next clip. Ambulance involves two brothers stealing an emergency vehicle with a first responder inside. In this clip, Isa Gonzalez explains how her EMT crash course was just enough to get by.
I want to make sure to say that I would never dare to do that because obviously what they do is a real job and they really, really train and intimately. Imagine if I could learn in 3 months, anyone could be a paramedic. But I have so much respect for what they do.
Shut the f*** up!
Ambulance appears in theaters this Friday, by the way. And there you go. That's what I have in the entertainment report today. We have a lot happening. I want to take a break to make sure we stay on time for everything. First of all, we have MMR's Concert Cash. That's at 8 o'clock. Your first time to win happens with us, but it goes on 7 times during the day. It's $500 and a pair of tickets to MMRBQ. We'll tell you how to win. It's very, very easy. We also have Ken Burns on the show. The documentarian has a show, or it's a feature on Benjamin Franklin. So I'd say we've got an investment in that here in our fair city. We'll talk to Ken a little bit after 8 o'clock as well. And Kevin Bacon, his brother Michael, the Bacon Brothers, are going to be joining us because they're playing a gig tomorrow night at Ardmore Music Hall. We got a lot happening. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be back in just a few.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR. The summer concert season begins with the MMR.
The Oscars were last Saturday. How about all of that? So yeah, they had a red carpet and the full deal. The documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher. Yay! It's been mentioned several times on the show, so wanted to throw that in there. Accepting was the octopus.
Wow, great.
And there was no wrap-up music. He just kept sucking and clicking and doing that whole thing for a long time. So,
Is that him walking up?
Suction cups, yeah.
That's him walking up to the podium. It was awkward, but listen, I mean, he was the star of the film. So.
It is a hell of a movie if you get a chance to see
I do.
it. Think of a Nomad Land, but with sea creatures.
They really should have put the octopus in the in memoriam section. I don't know why they didn't.
Did he die?
Well, he's an octopus. I mean, the movie came out like 2 years ago.
How long does your average octopus live?
I'll bet
the length of a documentary movie.
I'll bet they live longer than you think.
No,
they don't. They live like a year.
They don't.
Really?
Yeah, watch the movie.
Oh,
Wait,
you saw it too, Kathy?
Yeah,
I saw the
it's
movie,
great.
and I don't remember that shocking piece of
That's
news.
sad.
What?
Poor thing.
All
Maybe,
right,
well,
I'm
maybe it
gonna
was a
check
thing.
it out.
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5
All right,
years.
see, they're already getting longer lives.
See, he could still
1 year.
He could have accepted the award.
I wouldn't have wasted time with this dickhead then if I was an actor. I got a little living to do, baby.
All right, Yolanda Hadid is in love with. Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
In love with her daughter Gigi Hadid's daughter Kai.
So she loves her granddaughter?
She does.
Oh, my
Steve.
God.
I told
So
you.
who got the scoop on this
The
one?
news is big here this morning.
Wow.
Don't go to press yet.
Yeah.
I've got something.
She shared a tribute.
Yolanda Hadid, granddaughter.
Breaking news.
She,
Do you have a source that can confirm this? I'm not going with this unless you have corroboration.
well, they heard from an octopus that actually.
In a parking garage.
Yeah.
The octopus was in the shadows, but.
I have it on good authority that Yolanda Hadid lives her granddaughter.
Oh my God.
Will you go on record with that?
People who don't want this information out.
Oh my God.
He's scared, man.
I'm very scared.
And then he just walked away. That's my new favorite thing. The octopus walking away. In a cavernous room with lots of reverb so you can hear it.
I can see you're an octopus. Even in shadow.
He's got a trench coat
He
on.
doesn't even need a trench coat. He's got like this amazing camouflage.
Listen, he's running now. Oh, man. Yeah, Casey, he just blends in with the floor.
It's amazing.
A dove formerly owned by Prince has passed away.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was big into the doves when doves cry.
Of course. But I didn't know that he had, well, this particular dove was named Divinity.
Yeah.
Female white dove owned by Prince. She died on Tuesday following a recent decline in her health due to her age. She was 28 years old.
That is an exceptionally old dove.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a cat that lived to 22, and that seemed like an eternity for a pet lifespan.
Yes.
But listen, I know that some birds, like African grays and so on, can live for like 80 years.
Absolutely.
But I
They
didn't think
usually outlive their owners.
But I didn't think a dove had that kind of a shelf life, for lack of a better
I bathed
term.
in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka. And
That must have been
what
what
I
did it.
attribute my longevity to.
Well, longevity for Divinity.
Following Prince's death in 2016, Divinity remained at his Paisley Park and could be seen during the tours of his former estate.
Divinity conducted the tours.
According to the executive director of the Paisley Park tours, said Divinity's beautiful coo has welcomed visitors since Paisley Park first opened its gates to the public in October 2016. She was one of the enduring links to Prince for thousands of fans. She will be missed.
I would love to go to Paisley Park.
Me too.
I read there was a really fascinating article. Prince started writing an autobiography, and he hired a writer to help him write it. And so a year or so before he died, the writing process began, and the writer spent a lot of time in Paisley Park. And I've gained so much more of an appreciation for Prince after his death, which makes me feel guilty for some weird reason. But just everything that went into Paisley Park and his life is really amazing.
I was just watching a replay of yesterday of him at the Super Bowl when he did the halftime. It was awesome.
Yeah, and his version along with Danny Harrison and Tom Petty of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony years ago is just unbelievably great.
The outside of Paisley Park looks like a
school or
yeah. You would not. You would have no idea.
What I haven't seen are pictures of the inside.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's like a modern Graceland. Like it's Prince through and through.
Our old boss has been to parties there, Jim McGuinn, because he's a program director in Minneapolis, and that's where it is.
That's cool.
So yeah, I would
Elevator inside and all the whole deal.
So in addition to Divinity, Prince also owned a dove named Majesty, which, according to reports, were quiet. Both of them were quiet in the immediate days following his death, but they perked up after hearing his music.
I don't want to talk.
And a new generation of doves will continue to live on.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I'm gonna throw up.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
Doves cry.
Yeah. They were upset about Prince's death.
I swear to God, I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my God! Hey, are doves the same things as pigeons?
No.
No.
They're related.
They are related.
Yeah, they're in the same bird family.
That's what I mean.
If you look at their license, there's a delineation.
Okay.
My dad and I used to go dove hunting regularly. We used to blast those things out of the sky.
Dude, I mean, come on.
We'd eat them.
I know, but still, it's like puppy hunting. You know? It's so nice and cute and peaceful.
They're different than the ones that you see. They're gray colored.
They kill
ones.
families.
Okay.
Yes.
They are all tatted up.
He was doing service to the families of Kentucky.
They are literally the symbol for peace, however.
Yes! I was completely eaten by a dove today. Anyone kill them for us.
Son, we got work to do.
We beat it to death with an olive branch.
I have a hair change story that
That's a cool sound effect.
After splitting from her fiance, Dale Moss, Bachelorette alum Claire Crawley is ready for love and a new pink hairdo.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I saw it.
Yeah?
I've not seen it.
It's not over the top.
It's not crazy hot
It's
pink.
light. She says she wanted to show that she could do something crazy.
Okay.
As we observed, everything she's done shows she can do something crazy.
Oh, you're right. It's a nice pink. It's like an ombre.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. She didn't go. I was thinking like shocking. Like Katy Perry when she had super pink hair. Anyway.
Getting the tattoo of Florida on her forehead.
Did you see that guy?
I did.
Yes. He's got a tattoo of the state right on his forehead.
Ridiculous.
All righty, buddy. Source tells us she sees her time spent with Dale as something of her past and is ready to move forward.
It helped me to learn about myself.
So she has pink hair now.
Okay, the ombre's good. I kind of prefer the Ganon, bro.
What's the Ganon?
Come on,
bro.
Keep going. Do it. Finish it.
I'm not finishing
Come on.
It's Ganon, bro. I like the up dog.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Here's the tattoo of the Florida, by the way.
That looks good.
Oh, man, what is going on?
I know. We have a monitor that's normally in front of us. It doesn't work, and I can't see the photos when they come up. But yes, that's just brilliant. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama went to Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday. And overall best motion picture drama went to Nomadland. So there you go. That's our first foray into a very strange awards year.
It was. You know what was one of the weirder things, Preston? At certain points when they were going into a commercial and they had the nominees, they'd put the nominees up and they'd bring up their microphones so that they could sort of like talk and like. And there was, did you see Case? I don't know, because there was a point where Pacino was up for something and they were all, hi, Mr. Pacino, I'm a big fan of yours. And there's this cross talk. It's not, no one was overseeing it. It was just like you were listening in on a Zoom call.
Wait, so the crosstalk was between the fellow nominees?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they did that a couple times. If they ever do this again, they should not do that again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
It's very weird. And I'm like, is something supposed to be happening?
What was great, though, is when Soul won for best, I think it was best animated, who do you call it? Tracy Morgan pronounced it as Saul, right? He goes, and the winner is, and he goes, Saul. And then there was no reaction because there was no movie called Saw.
Right.
And then he realized that he had made the mistake. And then they had cut to the it was for best original song. But either way, the actors, it was Sudeikis, it was the people that were up for the next award.
Right.
They were having a ball with it. They were cracking up. Don Cheadle was making fun of them, and it was really.
I think Pacino didn't realize that he was still on the Zoom call because he was standing in the doorway pleasuring himself.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh no, you
How
don't do
awkward
that.
is that?
It feels so good.
Right.
Well, I didn't see that clip. But I did see. I saw a clip.
I'm gonna shout!
Oh my God!
Splat.
All over my walls and when my children play with their toys. expecting something like that. There are a few people who clearly were not quite up to speed on the tech.
I'm gonna shoot over here.
That was good.
Oh man!
Right after that.
Yes. Sorry, Nick.
No. This is also comedic. He fell asleep.
What?
Did he?
Yeah.
Was he asleep on camera, Nick?
Yeah. I mean, don't you usually fall asleep right afterwards?
Everybody's sleepy, and you've expanded yourself. So the camera pans across his screen, and listen, his eyes are closed, and he looks like he might have not actually have been asleep, but he looked like he was sleepy.
There was so much fun pleasuring myself.
Oh no, the poor guy. Getting old.
I don't feel so good.
That's hilarious.
I'm rubbing out.
So, according to a new survey presented by the Water Quality and Health Council, 51% of Americans reported using a swimming pool as a communal bathtub, using the pool as an alternative to showering or rinsing off after engaging in exercise or yard work or whatever it may be. Even though 64% of Americans know that pool chemicals don't eliminate the need to shower, people continue to do it anyway. By the way, the survey comes as experts from the council, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and, which I didn't know existed, the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Oh, that's great. That's what Darth Vader faces off in the second movie.
Work to educate the public on healthy and safe swimming.
We shall crush the Pool Alliance.
Yes, my name is
All right,
Mortimer Sanchez.
if anyone
and I'm
can
with the
answer
Pool
this
Alliance.
question, what is nicknamed locally as a Jersey Beach whistle? Does anyone happen to know what is nicknamed a Jersey Beach whistle? It's this item that is known colloquially as a Jersey Beach whistle. And it's not an actual whistle. 215-263-WMMR. You guys don't know what it is.
I do not know. No, you were chuckling about it over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it in an article that Kathy sent me over the weekend, and I'm going to reveal the details of this article in a moment, but I don't want to give anything away. Okay. I want to see if anybody happens to know the answer to this, to see if it is indeed a well-known nickname of anything.
The Jersey Beach whistle.
Yeah, 215-263-WMMR. Now, while you're calling in real quick, I'll give you some of the details about the concert cash, just so we're to kill a little bit of time here if anybody happens to know this. So it starts today, by the way, at 8, and then we do it at 10 and noon, 2, 4, 6, and 8 p.m. And at those hours, we are going to reveal a special keyword. We will tell you to enter that keyword. You have until 15 minutes after the hour to do it. There are 3 ways you can do it: through the MMR app, which you can have on your mobile device. It's free to download that, by the way. You can go to WMMR.com and do it there, or you can text it to our special contest short code number, which is 45911, and then we'll have a random winner, $500 and 2 tickets to the MMRBQ Saturday, May 21st. And if you enter via the app or WMMR.com, you're registered to win a $10,000 grand prize. So it's sponsored by AAA Distributor. So that starts today at 8 o'clock. All right, we're going to see if somebody knows the answer to this. I'm going to go to Jordan. Hey, Jordan, good morning.
Hello, Preston. Good morning. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
Nah, I want to know, what is known as a Jersey Beach whistle?
So we work in the sewer business, and when we see the applicators that the women flush down the toilet, we call them beach whistles.
That's right. A tampon applicator is a Jersey Beach whistle. You got it, Jordan. I am going to set you up with Jackass Forever on digital, so hang on just a second. And by the way,
all right.
So wait, you work in, did you say you work in the sewer department?
Yeah, we are the asshole of everybody's asshole.
Wow. Okay, you got I got to dump out on that.
It's very creative.
I love that. He said we are the a-holes of everyone's a-hole. And so Jordan, I'm going to reveal this list of things found at the Jersey Shore this summer.
All right.
And apparently tampon applicators found on the beach are a pretty standard thing.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So from raw sewage,
Hang
or
on, Jordan.
I don't think a lot of people are swapping them out on the sand there, right?
They found 3,211 of them on the Jersey Shore. By the way, that's down 18% for the season. So that's not. Yeah, congratulations, New Jersey. You done good.
I mean, I have
Jersey
seen-
Beach whistle.
I actually, at one point, there was a floating pad in the surf, and it wasn't
used.
Well, I don't know, but
Okay.
it looked clean.
All right.
But I saw it floating in the surf. I mean, and there were thousands of people, and I went and I picked it up.
Honey,
you know, and I
you may
felt
want to
like-
use this.
God.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Well, Kath, would you
Wants to
rather
get
me
it out
pick
of
it up,
there.
or do you?
Kathy.
I would rather no one pick it up.
Come on.
Let it float by.
Or
didn't you brine your tampons before you use them?
Wait, so don't you remember my I told you guys this story on the air. I think she may have called in, but a friend of mine, her son was on the beach and he was playing with something. It was kind of like back by the dunes.
Oh, no.
And he was like, "Mom," he was like, "I found a sand shooter." And that's what it was. It was a tampon applicator and he was putting sand in it and shooting the sand out.
shooter.
She was like, "Oh dear God."
It's a Jersey beach whistle. And Casey, I personally thank you for cleaning up that disgusting mess.
That's why. I
That's
mean,
what
I
you
do it. I did it
yes.
so there's some 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old doesn't pick it up and play with it.
So, yes, the volunteers picked up a record amount of trash from New Jersey beaches last year, with plastic items dominating the haul. The Clean Ocean Action Coastal Environmental Group released its annual report on Wednesday on the results of the prior year's beach sweeps. Over 10,000 volunteers picked up over 500,000 items along the state's 127-mile coastline in cleanups held in spring and fall of 2021.
It's pretty cool that people do that.
Yeah, it's great.
I sometimes I'll see them like out around the Wissahickon Park area, and you'll see people volunteering, and I'm like, I should do that. And you know what? I never have.
I don't either. But what I will try to do is at least pick up one piece of trash on the way back. If we're leaving the beach, I will at least try to find one thing that I can clean. You know what I mean?
You
just
know,
to do
just a
something.
little bit.
Because if everybody does that,
Yeah.
which they're not going to, but if everybody just picks up one piece of trash, it's going to help make a
And
difference.
then throw it out on the AC Expressway.
Yeah, where it belongs. So some of the things, some of the strange things that were found over the time period.
I can only imagine.
A full set of dentures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they come across that stuff fairly often, right?
A used Narcan kit.
Oh dear God.
Yep.
There's a story behind that.
Several marijuana bags, bullet casings, and a fake eyeball found at the Jersey Shore.
You got to imagine with the amount of people, limbs. Any limbs in there? Prosthetic limbs?
No, I didn't see any prosthetics, but there were also, there was a parking ticket, a lottery ticket, a glue stick, a mini refrigerator, a toilet brush, a TV remote control, a mason jar filled with booze, a plastic monkey, and a set of rosary beads as well.
How do the paper products, how do they make it?
How do they make it?
Yeah.
I don't think they don't necessarily have to be in the water.
Oh, okay. So
they can
it's
also
just
be
along
on the beach.
Oh, got it. Okay.
We found last year. I found a like a jewelry box, like a one that somebody may have bought like a bracelet in or something like that. And you know how that's just a little box.
Right,
that
right,
opens
right,
and
yeah.
closes, and you can keep things in it if you want to. And it was filled with some jewelry. It didn't look like anything.
Do you think that
ridiculously expensive? I didn't see like big diamonds or anything like that. But we took it to one of the lifeguards.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, cool, man." You know, I mean, it was very stereotypical. He's like, "Whoa, really? Okay." Like he was almost like, "Why are you giving this to me, man?" And I was like, "There's nobody else.
Finders, capers, losers, weepers.
Nobody else to give it to out here." I'm like, "Here, if somebody's looking for this, they'll probably come to you. So here you go."
That's pretty wild. Hey,
Yeah.
did you see? It's sort of tangential to this. Did you see that thing that washed up is in Australia up on the beach? It's like this bloated,
Some kind of creature?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Still trying to determine what it is.
Every
I've
now
seen
and then
stuff
that
like that on the
happens.
beach.
Yep.
You're gonna see far more of that now that you're down there a lot.
Someone also found a message in a bottle. I didn't hear what the message had said on it.
Where are my rings?
All told, 513,605 items were collected last year, the most ever since the beach sweeps began in 1985.
Do you remember when there was that massive amount of used medical waste and hypodermics and things?
Yep.
I forget where it was coming from.
I think it was coming from a dentist.
Right, yeah.
Yep. More than 82% of the total haul was plastic items or pieces. Bottle caps or cup lids reached a record number of 69,454, as did food and candy wrappers or bags at 58,589.
So last year, you guys were down there a lot, obviously. Do you see a lot of the guys with the metal detectors?
A few.
Yeah?
You know, I think like every other time we went, there was somebody
Somebody
walking
with a metal
around
detector,
with a metal
yeah.
detector.
There's always like a town metal detector guy who's out there at 6 a.m.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes, and depending on the traffic flow of the weekend, but you know they have trash cans out there at certain spots,
right?
And they'll just be there's just mounds of stuff just overflowing. Like,
how do you
way
fight that?
too much.
You can't. Whatever you put out is going to get filled up. You can't put a full dumpster out there on the beach.
Yeah, well, they pick it up at least where I go, they pick it up each night.
All right.
And I mean, I think they clear it, once or twice during the day.
Yeah. Isn't that part of what your beach tags fees go to?
We don't have beach tags.
They're free in Wildwood.
Is that the whole island on the Wildwood? Okay, yeah. So I guess in the other towns, part of the fees go towards the beach cleanup.
Hang on, I'm going to go to Egon. Hi, Egon. Good morning, sir. Hey. What's up, Egon?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Hey.
We lost a full carat diamond off my wife's engagement ring years ago. And we didn't realize it happened until we got home that night. Realized she was flying the kite, or at least the kite was handed off, and the string must have caught it and popped it off. She never felt it happen, but she felt her finger hurt from the string.
All right, so the diamond, the ring itself didn't come up, but the diamond popped off of the setting.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, you're
sucks.
screwed. And
Yeah.
there's no way to detect that.
How are you going to find a diamond?
Even a metal detector wouldn't work. Oh, man.
Exactly. Yeah, I have 4 boys. We all went back the next morning with the little sand sifters, and we tried for like 2 hours.
Oh.
No luck.
That sucks, man. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that, Egon.
How about a tampon applicator?
Yeah, right? Yes, can we give you a complimentary New Jersey beach whistle?
Yeah, we'll put this in a setting.
Wow. Like I said, more than 82% of the total haul was plastic. The cleanup data also pinpointed seasonal shifts in the type and amount of litter on New Jersey's beaches. 67 out of 95 categories were significantly higher in fall than in spring, including dog waste bags. They leave them out there?
You can't do that. Throw them in the water.
Plastic bottles, smoking-related litter. I told you at this little park, which is right by where our beach house is, there is literally a free dog bag dispenser.
Yes,
right.
I love to see that.
Plastic bags you can use for dog waste, and at the base of the pole that holds this thing was a huge pile of dog crap.
Just don't get it.
It was right there, man.
I'm sure even the dog went like,
Yeah, exactly. All right, so there were also plastic bottles, smoking-related litter, so you see lots of cigarette butts.
Hookah pipes.
Plastic food, takeout litter, and ice cream spoons or sticks.
What's the weirdest thing have you ever seen anything?
I haven't seen anything really strange. The only interesting thing I found was that box of jewelry. But me personally, I haven't been there long enough, I think, to stumble across
Your odds are going to increase now.
weird things.
Stevie mentioned hookah pipes, but I did when I was walking to the beach last year. There were these guys that were smoking a hookah. They were smoking tobacco. They weren't smoking pot or anything like that.
Right.
But they were. They had the tailgate of their SUV open, and they were just kind of sitting on the tailgate, sucking on a hookah. And I was like, that is interesting.
Yes.
People will abandon stuff. Like I've seen people, abandon their beach chairs or their little beach. What would you call it?
A beach cart.
Caddy.
Yeah, beach cart or caddy. I've seen them just like it's finally
That sucks.
met its demise, and they just leave it and take it and throw it away somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, at the very, very least, you could just put it by the trash cans.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on, I'm going to go to Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, Rebecca?
So, my husband, it was 2 months before our wedding, and my husband is a hockey player.
Yep.
So when he was 20, he lost his 2 front teeth, so he had dentures. He had like 2 big teeth. And him and his best friend were at the beach. He decided to drunkenly take them out of his mouth and put them in his pocket and go and surf the waves.
Oh, my God.
And of course, they fell out. So it's 2 months before our wedding. He's like scouring the sand, him and his drunk best friend, and they couldn't find it. They go and they ask the lifeguards, like, hey, have you seen teeth anywhere? And they straight up just laughed at him.
Okay.
And
Of course,
for the rest
yeah.
of the weekend, they were just looking at him like, who are you? Why are you losing your teeth?
That's hilarious. Later that day, they caught a flounder with a gorgeous smile.
Oh, man. And so this was right before your wedding?
Yes, it was 2 months before our wedding.
And did he manage to get replacements in time?
He did, but he did have to do a whole job interview with his
It's got a good story behind it, though.
Oh, that's funny.
He's a hockey player.
Yeah.
They tend to lose teeth.
That is funny. All right, thanks, Rebecca. I appreciate it. My dad lost his front tooth right before my wedding.
Oh, no.
And was there at our wedding with that big old hole in his mouth. It was hilarious.
Well, that's for the straw.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, by the way, going back to the Jersey Shore and the cleanup, this report just came out of what they found. I know it's a little early to be talking about beach season, but fewer face masks were found in the fall as compared to the spring.
That was a disaster. The face mask thing was just crazy. People just, you remember at the beginning of all that stuff that you could see them littering parking lots and everything? It's like, come on, that's where you throw your tampons.
But they found over 3,600 discarded masks. They were either left behind or washed up on the sand.
How many of those were fencing masks?
That's a good question. Like that full head helmet and mask.
Little beach fencing is always fun.
Clean Ocean Action's data helped make the case for New Jersey's pending ban on most plastic bags and foam packaging at retail outlets beginning in early May, which is one of the toughest laws in the nation. So they think it's important, so we can maybe help put a damper on some of the beach litter.
I have to ask you a quick question, Kathy, since we're talking about the Jersey Shore. Where are the great whites right now?
You follow those.
Yeah, I'll find. Go ahead, keep going.
Kathy's got a tracking app. Several items showed decreases over the time period, which is
That's good news.
So discarded diapers were down 41%.
All right.
They only found 150 of those.
Excellent.
Total glass items were down 39%.
That's good, too.
They only found 14,697 of those. Six-pack rings.
I thought those were... Well,
they still make them.
They still make them?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is that they'll choke birds and they'll...
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the main culprits of effing up the environment.
Those are down 27%.
You know what, Steve? There's actually new types of six-pack rings where it's not a ring, but kind of like this lid that goes over the can.
Yep. And I had wondered why they were using those. Are mainly for 4-packs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mainly see those like at smaller brew pubs.
Yeah.
But I was wondering why use that. But maybe it has to do with that.
It might
environmental issue with animals.
I hope,
on them or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, a shark update.
Shark update.
They're basically North Carolina and south, all the way down to Florida.
Okay, not warm enough here yet for them to travel.
They're really nowhere near us right now.
All right, excellent.
Hang on, I'm going to go to Kara real quick. Hi, Kara. Good morning.
Hi, it's actually Karen.
Oh, hi, Karen. What's up?
You okay? The girl who called in earlier, whose husband lost his dentures.
Yes.
Yeah, they might be sitting in the bar in my beach house.
At your beach house. What beach?
I think it was Stone Harbor. It was either Stone Harbor or Wildwood, because they're the only two beaches I go to.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here with my husband, who's a weirdo, and he's like, he comes over to me, and he's like tossing them at me. I'm like, what the frick is that? He's like, oh, my son goes, are they real? I'm like, these are real. I'm like,
So Karen,
dude.
Karen, were they? So she said they were the two front teeth. Is that what you have?
No, I have like a whole set.
Okay, that may not be it then.
Like a whole set.
Bummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and where are they sitting now, Karen?
On the bar in my beach house.
It's like a modern day Cinderella.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. You just see me cleaning. I gotta push them away. I'm like, ew, I'm not touching these things. I wash them. I said, you could friggin' sandblast them. I'm not touching them things.
Yeah, I don't think that. Kathy, you wouldn't like that playing with someone else's dentures.
That's disgusting, Karen. All right, thank you. All right, real quick, and we have to keep this break short because we need to stay on time for our money, our money contest, and also Mr. Ken Burns. So just a couple other quick things. So condoms were down 27%. It found 27% fewer rubbers.
I've found a condom. I didn't explore it deeply to determine whether it was used or not, but I assumed it was.
I told you, I found one at Valley Forge National Park
that's right.
a couple weeks ago.
We've gotten a few texts from people who work along the Delaware River, and apparently in the Delaware, condoms are known as Delaware whitefish.
Same thing up in New York.
Okay.
Along Fire Island, the whitefish.
All right, so down 27%. They only found 368 of those, and the Jersey beach whistles, the tampon applicators, were down 18%. Other strange things, and we got to take a break. They found a bowling ball. Wow. They found a rainbow-striped women's bathing suit, a highway traffic cone, part of a car windshield, a check for $1.
Check.
Let me write you a check for that.
They found an accordion and a harmonica.
Wow.
And a CD holder filled with albums by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, well,
so those
that's
are
appropriate,
the stranger things that were found.
Should cut that adrift.
At the Jersey Shore this year. So interesting. Well, thank you for your phone calls. And I'm sorry to keep this short, but we want to try to stay on time so that we can do the Bizarre File, then come back and then do the MMR concert cash and then go straight into our friend, Mr. Ken Burns.
Come on. We can do it.
Special about Ben Franklin that's coming out today, by the way, on PBS. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get your Bizarre File story. So stay with us. Returning shortly.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Son of Americans
Mammoth and Dirty
would
Honey
go into a
Arcade.
pool within 1 hour of having diarrhea.
See, that's now listen. That's why public pools are just not my thing.
Spend all
However,
day on the toilet. You know what I need to do? I need to take a swim.
get some of that residual out.
To check the chlorine and pH levels for a personal public pool, the council is offering free pool test kits through its 15th annual Healthy Pools campaign on its website.
This is the Alliance.
This is the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Did you mention in this story, Preston, particular sunblocks affecting?
I didn't mention this.
Okay. Go into the pool now. Peter Cushing.
Moff Tarkin.
This is the finest pool you'll ever swim in.
What were you saying, Nick? Sunscreens?
Yeah, the reason that I bring it up is that I went on a snorkel, not a scuba,
Snookles
or a
good, though.
snorkel, but a snorkel.
It's the latest craze that's sweeping the beaches of America. Snookling.
Get some Beach Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Going
great.
outside, hanging tan, snookling all day long.
Serpent USA, please.
Oh, sorry.
I know what the snookle is, if I may suggest.
Have a snookle.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
Snookle USA. Like California.
I'm such an idiot.
All right, anyhow.
Snorkeling.
Oh, yeah.
I went snorkeling, and you weren't allowed to wear.
Feel of a snookle at dawn.
You weren't allowed to wear the sunblock that you brought. You had to use the sunblock that they provided for you, and it's because the sunblock that most people wear is pretty damaging to the reef. And I was wondering if it would be damaging at all to like a pool filter or to the saltwater.
These are all good
treatment or
questions.
whatever,
Yeah, because some of the chemicals are pretty arch and can have that effect.
Yeah, and I've been snorkeling many times in my life, but this is the first time ever on a snorkel trip where I had to do this, and you weren't allowed to wear what you had, what you brought.
They provided.
They provided it for
Do you
you,
remember
yeah.
what it was? What type it was?
I don't. It was like an industrial vat of
It was
stuff.
called Reef Killer.
Yeah.
Reef Killer sunblock. A snookle, by the way, as you're snorkeling, has a second tube that goes up back onto the beach so that someone could load M&Ms into them so that you can eat.
You're hungry.
So that's what a snookle
Right, a
is?
snookle is a second food tube.
Okay.
So that you can swim longer.
Everybody wins.
That's great.
They do have Snuba. Snuba is legit.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Snuba.
Apparently
Yeah.
snookle is legit as well.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
If you can swim, you can snookle. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Snookle offers shallow dives.
Approximately 10 to 40 feet without cumbersome tanks and no diving certification necessary. That looks like Snuba.
It does.
So what
A hose,
what
right?
they do is, well, yeah, they have a floating tank that stays above the water, and you basically take the regulator down, and it's a long tube, a long hose that you can breathe in. We're getting ready to get recertified to go into a refresher course for scuba to get set for our vacation. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'll ask about snookle.
Yeah.
Zombie raccoons. That's my thing.
Yes.
That clumsily walk on two legs and show their teeth are staggering around suburban Chicago, and authorities are warning locals to hide their pets. A spike in raccoons testing positive for distemper in Riverside, Illinois, is to blame for the bizarre sightings of contaminated animals that the disease causes to appear zombie-like. While zombie raccoons don't eat brains, distemper is highly contagious. If you're feeding wildlife and that raccoon ate out of your bowl or cat food for your stray cats and your puppy goes over, the saliva can be contagious.
They sent in a Negan raccoon to take care of everything.
Well, oh, well, oh, well. Looks like we got ourselves a problem in Chi-Town. Leaning back high. Looks like we got some trouble. Some trouble in Chi-Town. Going deep dish on this bitch.
It's got a little leather jacket he wears. Yeah.
Lean back, wait for. Hey! In the home of Oprah.
There was an email that was sent out that we were going to have our studios checked because there may have been bed bugs brought into the area. And we've had everything checked out. They actually just brought a dog in to sniff. Yeah, I think it was Jack Russell is what it looked like.
Josie was her name.
Josie is the dog. And there's no bed bugs.
Well, no, that's not true. There were on a chair.
Was there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Or yeah, it was certainly like a warm zone or something.
A warm
like that
zone.
They call those.
That's
So-
what I call my chairs at home. Yeah, my warm zone.
I think what everybody was worried about was an infestation, which I guess is not the case if it was just on the chair. I don't know.
Just on the chair. The rest of the place is apparently clean. Josie scoured our studio and nothing.
And I'm never coming back again.
You would have thought there was a radiation leak here.
Yeah. So I never told my wife that there was a bed bug.
She wouldn't have let you go to work.
No.
That was the first thing I told my wife, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I'm surprised that's all we have. They're ripping the entire building apart, walls that haven't been opened up in years.
Yeah.
I imagine at night there must be a big vermin hoedown when we leave. Because you walk around, there's these caverns. Like a wall will disappear.
Yeah.
There's a big opening now.
Yeah.
You walk down one hall, it's 11 degrees, and then the next hall, it's 1,400 degrees. It's a whole new environment. It's like you're on some spaceship that's just, morphing all the time, and that's what this is here.
Well, I'm just glad that they alerted us to it.
Yeah.
Because during some of the construction, apparently they were removing asbestos, and nobody ever told us.
Well, that's when that wall went up down at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Because, and I almost walked into that wall. That's how quickly it went up. I started to turn down to go down to what I thought was Chuck's office down the hall that used to exist.
Like Looney Tunes.
And there was a wall.
So my wife will, when we go check into a hotel, it's always the same situation. We open the door, we shut the door, we leave our bags right at the door while she goes and strips all the beds and looks through all the furniture for bed bugs. She's like definitely
She's fanatical.
So before you guys even enter the room,
we have to leave our bags at the door. There's an inspection.
I really wanted to come in a hazmat suit or some sort of bubble, but I couldn't find anything.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going through our text chain, and I'm like, hey, by the way, this is going on. I'm not going to tell my wife. And then Kathy immediately goes from 0 to freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Get the F out of here. I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Who the F has bed bugs? Holy F, no, like 1,000 exclamation points. And then she says, do you know how hard it is to get rid of bed bugs? What's the company going to do about it? And when? And then Preston sends a GIF, of like a bedbug jug band.
Yeah, playing music. And then Kathy fires back, that's not funny.
It's not funny.
I think I said F you to anybody who's not taking this seriously.
And then I think Nick said, read Joe's email. And then Kathy says, F the email, F the bedbugs, and F whoever doesn't think this is a big deal. Where are we going to do our show tomorrow? Clearly, we can't go to the station, and we need an on-site location.
My house is clean.
was ready.
My house is clean.
Yeah. She was ready to set up shop somewhere else.
100%. If you guys would have said, yeah, we have to do the show somewhere else, I would offer it up my house.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
So it was one bug down the hall, right?
Yes!
Okay, I'm just asking.
Could you see Casey coming home? Diane wants to check him, so she takes out the blue light. Doesn't find any bed bugs, just semen
Bathed in semen, yeah.
All over my face.
We're good. The woman was saying that they have dogs that can do all sorts of that check for bugs that actually will.
Wait a minute. I thought you meant that bed bugs use dogs to travel around.
Mush, mush.
For a ride.
I thought you meant as piggybacking.
You've never seen the bed bug Iditarod?
No.
It's good. Yeah.
It must be majestic.
It's compelling.
Yeah, good dog, good dog. It's good dog. Yeah. Hello, love being out here in the open range. Yeah!
Let's see here. As Godzilla vs. Kong, starring Millie Bobby Brown, performed much better than expected given the circumstances of COVID and so on, and the original movie King of the Monsters' lackluster box office performance. A threequel is expected with Adam Wingard set to direct again.
So he directed the most recent one,
I believe so, yeah.
Right.
So according to the Hollywood Reporter, the concept being floated is Son of Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong has crossed $400 million globally and is the top-grossing Hollywood-produced movie since the pandemic hit.
They're going to have to correct something now in both these, Son of Kong and Son of Godzilla. You got to have another. You got to have a female Godzilla. Something. Who's he banging?
Yeah.
Where does this? Not unless they're asexual. They reproduce that way. I mean, there's only
it's Son of Kong,
right? But there's also Son of Godzilla.
Oh, is there Son of Godzilla?
Yes, I'm sure that's in the works as well.
So maybe he could reproduce asexually. I don't know. We don't know much about Godzilla. He's kind of a mystery, but definitely not Kong.
Well, Godzilla
Definitely
could.
not.
No, he's more.
Yeah.
He's a simian.
He's a mammal.
Why do we assume that Kong is a man? Wouldn't
We
we
know
say-
it. He's all man.
Well, I don't know.
Wouldn't he be Queen Kong?
Yeah, he'd be Queen Kong.
Okay, fair point. But I didn't see any low-hanging fruit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left that out. In fact, can you on apes or do they? I've never.
Is there junk external?
That's a good question.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. Safer for your lawn, kids, and pets. You can schedule their full service program and get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED. Natural Lawn of America. Excuse me. Greener grass, fewer weeds, guaranteed. So, a German man allegedly got the COVID-19 vaccine not once, twice, or even 3 times. He got it at least 87 times.
87 times.
The man allegedly carried out his shot campaign in Saxony for anti-vaxxers who didn't want to get the shot themselves, paying the man to get it on their behalf.
Jesus.
And according to police, the man went to 3 different vaccination clinics a day and presented his name and birth date, but not his health insurance card, which could have alerted the authorities sooner.
87 times.
The scheme was busted after an employee at a vaccination clinic in Dresden recognized the man. He was arrested and charged by the German Red Cross for selling the vaccinated records, prompting calls for a national vaccine database. But 87 times. I have no idea what the medical ramifications of something
I'm sure
like
it's
that might be.
wonderful. 87 times. He just breathes on you and you're vaccinated.
Right. 2 people were rushed to the hospital after being struck by lightning Saturday while leaving a New York Yankees spring training game in Florida.
Jeez.
A man in his 60s and a woman in her 20s were struck in the parking lot of Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. They were taken to a hospital and were stable. No other details were released. The Tampa Bay area was under a slight risk of severe weather on Saturday. Possible tornadoes, strong winds, and hail were forecast. And the odds of being struck by lightning in a given year are about 1.5 million.
What are the odds that you're outside a Yankee game?
It's considerably larger. So Florida is considered the nation's lightning capital, by the way.
Yeah.
With more than 2,000 lightning injuries over the past 50 years. A 27-year-old man is accused of stealing from a business and assaulting an employee with a solid chocolate bunny. The officers were called after the man stole merchandise at a business. An employee who confronted the shoplifter was hit with a Mr. Solid brand chocolate bunny.
Mr. Solid, that's probably pretty solid. When the name is Mr. Solid, that's the name. That name again, Mr. Solid.
But you definitely know you're not going to get one of those hollow ears when you break it off. It's completely solid. The employee suffered minor injuries. The accused shoplifter ran away but was found and arrested nearby while still in possession of stolen merchandise. The man was released from custody and will appear in court on charges of assault and theft under $500. Here's a strange story that took place in Springfield, Missouri. A group of individuals dressed as Beaker from the Muppets surrounded an Uber driver. It was around 8 p.m. Uber driver Jeff Denton was taking a break from driving when he decided to pull over in a parking lot He said, I pulled into a dark parking lot and was attacked by a bunch of beakers. He was laughing as he was saying, and he said, my thoughts were, oh, man, I have to get this on video. Denton recorded 6 to 8 beakers meeping at him on the video. He said they ran off into the shadows to terrorize someone else. Denton was asked what happened after he had stopped recording. He posted the video to Facebook shortly after, but he said they were just meeping over and over. So that beaker meep, meep, meep over and over. So is this Beaker? Oh, he's in part of this. Yes, that's right. But no one was hurt. That's him.
So no MO. I mean, no reasoning behind this assault.
It was on April 1st, so
well,
it
there
may
you
have
go.
been an April Fool's Day prank of some sort. But they had these really cool-looking big beaker masks. And he believes it was the work of the Springfield Improv group.
Oh, all right.
As they were heading out as
Wasn't
Beaker
a
for the night.
drive-by or anything.
This was just another day for Woodinville resident Alan Cruz when he stepped outside to collect his mail. Cruz said that he was about 10 feet away from his front door when a dark blob appeared in his peripheral vision.
Oh, no.
A black bear had emerged from behind some bushes, he said, and looked hungry.
Porch pirate.
He said, I could feel it staring at me from afar.
Did your order from Harry and David come?
Before I noticed it was there, he said that bear
Omaha steaks?
must have come out of hibernation recently because it was skinny and clearly searching for food. We made eye contact for about...
Salmon of the Month Club?
He said we made eye contact for about 30 seconds. To fend for himself, Cruz grabbed the closest weapon he could, and it was an electric scooter. He said, my eldest son came home late last night and parked the scooter in the lawn. I didn't even know it was there until I was surveying the yard in search of something to defend myself. As the bear approached, Cruz was swinging the 30-pound scooter around his head.
At a bear.
And shouted loud enough for the entire neighborhood to hear it. He said, while his technique was unorthodox, he said it was ultimately successful because the bear took off in the opposite direction.
Bad news, I have a solid chocolate bunny.
Looking back, he said it would probably have been safer to run inside and wait for the bear to go away.
Than to take him on, yeah.
Regardless, Cruz was happy to escape the situation unharmed. And there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, stay with us. We're going to break. We're going to come back. No song. We're coming back right after the commercials. Your first chance to win with MMR's concert cash.
Yeah.
$500 and MMRBQ tickets. And then we're going to talk to our friend Ken Burns. So that's up next. Not far away. Stay close.
Point about animal genitalia.
Yeah, but even on Kong, it would be big enough.
You're
right.
But
Yeah, I mean, it'd be the size of a
proportionally
VW, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be the size of me.
Be as tall as Steve.
I want to see King Dong. I want to see it.
There actually was a movie called King Dong.
Of course,
yes,
there
there
was.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a rom-com. Like he's romancing this lady, and it's about how they have the baby together.
Oh, the next Kong
the
movie?
next one, yeah.
4 weddings and a King Kong.
That could be. It could be something like that. We'll have to see. An inspiring story.
Giant ape walked into her life.
All right. So anyhow, we will see if that comes to pass or not. But
And how big his junk is and whether there's a Mrs. Kong.
Son of Kong. We'll have to see.
What a goddamn day today. Sit down, I'll make you some dinner. I'm fighting these things that are apparently prehistoric. And yet I've never seen them. And I'm on an island. You'd think I would want to cross. I don't even know why they evolved that way. They're like snake things with just give me a beer.
Yeah, just think about it tomorrow. Just,
you want to do a little grab ass?
Yeah. Khloe Kardashian.
Let's take this upstairs.
Kong! What are you doing?
Just a little finger stuff.
Oh my God!
There's no little finger stuff in here.
Oh, it's bigger than my penis.
No, it's perfect.
A lot of gorillas are like that.
It's okay, baby. It happens. No, not to me. It's those dumb lizard things that I met today.
You can't stop thinking about it.
I'm just distracted.
Forget about the lizard things. Come upstairs.
Let's have some oysters.
Okay. Should I move on to Khloe
Yes,
Kardashian
yeah.
now? Okay, thank you.
Same size.
I have the floor now.
Maybe that. There you go. King Kong marries Khloe Kardashian.
Today, it was, I guess, 25 years ago today or recently within the last week or so.
I think it's today. It's a magical day, or at least a magical time. You can sort of feel it in the air.
Yeah, you even look outside.
Yeah.
The trees are swaying, I think, in honor of the fact that it is the 25th anniversary of the movie Twister.
Yeah. A legendary film.
Oh, my God.
Legendary, horrible film.
I remember looking forward to going and see. I took my mom. She was visiting in town, and I took her to go see the movie. And the big hook were the effects.
That's it.
At the time, the effects were kind of groundbreaking. The CGI depicting these tornadoes.
And they were amazing for the time. They did a great job.
Yeah. It was such a stupid movie.
The whole concept.
It was just piss poor.
Yeah. The rival storm chasers.
Yeah.
There's the corporate storm chasers and the more grassroots in it for the love of the storm. The whole background story on Linda Hunt's character, Helen Hunt's Joe Harding.
Not Linda.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah. So the Helen Hunt's story about her dad being sucked away in a twister while they were in the storm cellar, and she's always had this love-hate relationship with the storms. But it's horrible. But again, at that time, the effects-wise, you'd never seen anything like that.
No, effects-wise. So here's my vivid memory of this movie. Because if it was 25 years ago today, I was just getting done my junior year of college. I was a lifeguard, and I was at my boss, the guy who owned the company. I was at his house getting all the supplies ready to clean out pools. We did apartment pools. And he talked like this, like his voice was like this, right? And so it's me and my little brother, and we're power washing all this stuff in his driveway. And he goes, I saw Twister last night, and those tornadoes were real. And he said that. Those tornadoes were real. He must have said that like a half a dozen times. My little brother, it was me and him, my younger brother, sorry. It was me and him. And so we will, even 25 years later, if the word tornado comes up in conversation, he and I will say, those tornadoes were real.
What was that guy's name?
I don't want to say his name.
What's his first name?
What was his first name? Last name?
You just know his last name?
Joe.
Okay.
Let's go with Joe.
Hey, Joe, how were those tornadoes?
Those tornadoes were real.
I love that story so much.
Was he suggesting that they had incorporated? What was his point? Was that they were not created for the movie, that they were corralling tornadoes and using them in the film?
I think what he meant to say was those tornadoes looked real.
Okay.
But he said that they were real. And he had like a real affinity towards just weather. He loved weather.
He was a weather guy.
Yeah, he loved weather.
It was like Philip Seymour Hoffman in the movie.
Well, listen, he owned a pool supply and lifeguarding company, so weather was definitely...
What I really love is weather.
Yeah. Weather's important to that line of work. Absolutely.
Yeah. Those tornadoes are real.
Oh, my God.
I wonder if my
That's
brother's
great.
texting me.
It's almost kind of Don Nazi.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wait, I just said Don Nazi.
Very different.
Don Nazi.
Citizens of Mayberry, I find nice and gloomy.
Oh my God, I didn't even mean to do that. Wow. Okay.
Bring Floyd in here. I have something for him to do. We got to talk about this Jewish thing.
All right. You guys would be surprised how many people are texting in on how this is their favorite movie.
Yeah.
Or that it's their
I don't even get why we're
best
talking
movie.
about it.
It's the 25th anniversary.
Because those tornadoes were real.
Who cares?
Come on, Cap.
It
was real.
By the way, when Casey says that, he puts his hands by his sides.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like he pushes them into his sticks his elbows out and goes, it was real.
Those tornadoes were real.
Primal Fear. Ed Norton has them as a very diabolical character, right? I remember he's completely psychopathic.
A good twist.
It's a twist. Yeah.
It's a twister.
It was real.
tornadoes are real.
Dude. I can't believe we just met this guy.
I
just
can't
now.
believe I never took.
You've never. I've never brought it
I
up.
love that.
Dude, that guy, man. He lived in this beautiful, huge home. I'm like, how the hell, like looking back on it, I'm like, how the hell did you just own a pool company? You know what I mean? Anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, well, good on
And he
him.
loves-
My family money is real.
I want to get movie reviews from that guy.
Yes.
Other movies.
Other movies from Joe.
Yeah.
I love it. After grieving her husband Prince Philip's death, Queen Elizabeth is back to her royal duties. On Tuesday, she made her first official appearance following Philip's funeral. And she was seen... Oh, grinning. I thought it said grinding.
I thought it said gurning.
She's gurning.
No, what's this?
I'm sucking my chin into my mouth.
Wait, do we have the bell?
Right, the word is invest.
INVEST, and you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter it. There are 3 ways for you to do that. You can use the special contest short code number and text it to 45911. Make sure you use that number, 45911. Or if you want to be entered for the $10,000 grand prize, you enter it via the MMR app or at WMMR.com. One random entry wins $500 in our company-wide contest, and all MMR winners receive 2 free tickets to the MMRBQ. All right, if you're a winner, you get a call from Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules available at WMMR.com, and it is sponsored by AAA Distributed. The word again is invest. Good luck to you. Let's have a look at traffic. Then we're going to welcome our guest, Kathy. What is going on?
We are jammed on 95 southbound from Academy to Cotman to Betsy Ross Bridge through to Girard. And then on the northbound side of 95, expect delays from 452 to Curlin Street, Bridge Street to Cotman. On the boulevard, we've got an accident. So northbound is jammed from the Schuylkill to Wissahickon. Just before Wissahickon, 2 right lanes are blocked with this accident. Southbound is jammed 9th to Fox. The Blue Route northbound, heavy 95 to McDade Boulevard, Baltimore Pike to the Media Bypass. And then on the Schuylkill, expect delays eastbound, 202 into Belmont, heavy the Boulevard to the Vine, westbound the Boulevard to Belmont, the Blue Route out to Gulf Mills. This traffic report brought to you by InvisibleFence.com. Spring is finally here. Let your pets play outside and be confident that they're safe and secure. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. Invisible Fence brands surround your pets with care. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you very much, Kathy. So our next guest is always a joy to have on. He's just the nicest guy in the world and one of the most talented guys.
Oh, love his stuff.
Especially when it comes to documentaries. And we are happy that the subject happens to be one so near and dear to this city. Our most famous resident ever, Mr. Benjamin Franklin, is the source of this. So it premieres tonight, and it is also on tomorrow, 8 p.m. on PBS. It is a 4-hour documentary. Please welcome Mr. Ken Burns.
Morning. How you guys doing? It's been a while.
It has. It is good to see you as well. We're doing this via Zoom, but thanks so much for joining us again, Ken. It's always great to have you on.
It's always great to be on. Thank you. Yeah, now we got one really super close to home, don't we?
Wow. Yeah.
It's and as Preston said, so near and dear, and obviously there's so much. You can't go anywhere in this city and not see. Obviously, this holds true for the country and for history, but in particular here, we almost feel like he's a living resident. You know, he's always around you in one form or another.
Yeah, that's the key thing about Franklin. You hit the nail on the head. You know, he's accessible. He's not like the other founding fathers, the kind of marble statuary that seemed fixed in their time. He's very accessible to us. He's a great writer, so he communicates that way. He's our original humorist. You know, there's so many things in our lives in which he's had an impact. And he's the most important person in my mind, at least equal to George Washington, for our independence. And without his diplomacy, the greatest diplomat in American history, without his editing of the Declaration, without his forging of the compromises that created the Constitution, we don't have a country. And he's fluid. He's always trying to self-improve. He's always trying to get better. For a while, when he was a wealthy man and retired, he held some enslaved people as household household servants. And, by the end of his life, he's leading an abolitionist society and proposing the abolition of slavery, decades before most of the abolition movement got started in the 19th century. And he's funny, he's good and he's generous. Like he's on the $100 bill. Everybody wants more Benjamins. Right? We're missing half of the equation because he bound it back to civic improvement. The why Franklin's on everything here is because he was interested in making the community better. Let's remember he was born in the Massachusetts Bay Colony as a little kid, broke out of an indentured servitude to come here to Philadelphia, and died in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He was as much interested in what we do together, the good we do together, as he did for improving himself financially. I mean, all of his inventions, the lightning rod, the stove, the bifold, all of that are held without patent. He would have been 100 times richer, but he understood that these were good for everybody. So he's the embodiment of the whole tension between what I want, personal freedom, and what we need, collective freedom. And he knew how to parse that. And that's why he's so great. And that's why he lives today.
It's interesting, Ken, is that we're so, I think, in general, bereft of the belief that the people that we entrust are, whether they be the political elite or the people that we elect, that they have our best intentions at heart. That's a motivation. But you look at Ben Franklin and you look at, you said, you just reeled off a list of things that really does seem to be about someone looking to intercede on behalf of the people.
That's right.
And a guy who is resolute in evolving himself, who could realize his own foibles and what he needed to improve upon.
That's exactly right. And so, the problem today is not that the people aren't there that want to serve, is that we live in a binary media culture, computer culture. Everything's a 1 or a 0.
Exactly.
For us, life is melodrama. Every villain is perfectly villainous. Every hero is perfectly virtuous until we discover that they've got a flaw, and then we throw them out, right? It doesn't matter left, right, center. That's what happens. But what Franklin understood is that, this is a tragedy. People are complicated. He had, he had strained relations in his family in lots of different ways. His son was the royal governor of New Jersey, stayed a loyalist, was imprisoned during the revolution, got out, presumed he'd go to London. Instead, he stayed to start a terrorist organization killing patriots. Not that there weren't patriot organizations killing loyalists.
Right.
It was a big mess, but, they never reconciled. He stayed away from his wife, Deborah, who stayed back and ran the family businesses for 15 out of the last 17 years. He knew that she had had a stroke, was dying, and he wasn't there for her death. So yeah, he's complicated, but he has this desire to improve himself, and he makes all these lists of virtues that he tries to do, and yet he's human like you and me, so he's recognizable. And I think our problem today is that it's an on-off switch, and life isn't about that. You can't be married, you can't have kids, you can't be a friend without understanding you're going to tolerate somebody else with flaws, and that they themselves are tolerating your flaws.
Well, it's often been said that you're more interested in the imperfections. I think the imperfections are what makes someone human. I also think something that you've employed constantly throughout your years as a documentarian is the ability to judge people in their time, to realize that it's eventually there might be a finger pointing at you for what you're not doing quite right, that might not be suitable as things move along. So realize that people in their time. And I think Ben Franklin's one of the prime examples of somebody.
He's exactly that. But he's speaking to us from that time and said, look, I could look at the limitations of the rest of the people around me of my time. I mean, Jefferson writes the Declaration that all men are created equal. He wrote, here's the good part. He writes, we hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable. Sends the first draft to Franklin. He goes, this is beautiful, Tom, beautiful, but let's make these truths self-evident. We're in the age of enlightenment, right? Just like the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west. Let's make it self-evident. Let's not tie it to religion anymore. Let's just make it, this is scientific. This is the rights of human beings, And so Jefferson never saw the hypocrisy or the contradiction. I made a film on him about owning slaves, but Franklin did. Yeah. And he worked on that. And so he was able to transcend it. In his will, he left some money for kids in his native Boston and in Philadelphia to go into the trades. And I talked to some folks from the Boston School, the Franklin Institute, and they were all, young first generation immigrants or, lower middle class folks that are striving to go to college for the first time. They were so filled with that energy that Franklin wanted Americans to have. It was just so beautiful that this gesture that this guy dying in 1790 makes, that today in 2022, there are people benefiting, not just what we read about, not just the documentaries that we watch, but are benefiting from this endowment to say, you matter. If you work hard, you can go someplace, and there ought to be a place, it happens to be the United States of America, doesn't always work well, where if you apply yourself, we ought to be able to help you get along. And it isn't, it isn't just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what the people think about Franklin, who love the $100 bill. That's why he's on the biggest denomination in general circulation. But they miss that other point, that we are required to help each other.
Orwell makes a point in 1984 of talking about a world that's just a constant present. There's no past. There's nothing to learn from. And here is a case where, if you go back and visit, what you might think of someone. I love taking a dive into someone's past, and you've been the vessel for helping me do this, and all of us do this over the years. The things that you learn, and the more someone becomes a well-rounded, positive, negative kind of person, the more you can appreciate what they did. You'd mentioned Franklin's rules to live by, and you mentioned, how he could have been, fabulously wealthy if he had patented some of these inventions. One of his rules is be extremely frugal. What was the one thing that Franklin couldn't be frugal about? They just loved too much to not be a little audacious.
Well, what's so funny is John Adams arrives a little bit late in Paris. Franklin's been there for a while negotiating with the French, and he knows how to handle the French. Adams has studied French language by memorizing funeral orations. Franklin's learning to perfect his French by writing love letters to the ladies. Mm-hmm. So I think he just found in the high society of Paris just a way in which, a lot of those aphorisms, a lot of those things that he had said, early to bed, and Adams goes there and he goes, hey, where's poor Richard? Where's early to bed and early to rise? But to Adams' great shock, Franklin had already negotiated 2 treaties. And just think about it. Washington had a big task, not to lose a battle. Yeah, he wins at Trenton, but that's a surprise thing, and it's not this big of a deal. There is a victory at Saratoga, which allows Franklin to convince the French that we're viable, that we can win this thing. But when Cornwallis surrenders at Yorktown in 1781, Washington is there with about 9,000 Continental soldiers that are equipped and uniformed by the French. Thank you, Benjamin Franklin. Next to him are nearly the same amount of French soldiers. Thank you, Benjamin Franklin. And oh, by the way, Cornwallis can't escape and has to surrender because out in the harbor is a French fleet blocking the British retreat back to New York. Thank you, Dr. Franklin. So all of this, know him, know us is what I like to say.
It's amazing.
You know what, Ken, we had, Steve and I had received an award from the Masons here in Philadelphia, and we got invited to the Masonic Temple for a ceremony and an evening. And that place is just dripping with Ben Franklin. I mean, it was amazing to see his likeness all over the place. And it was at that point, obviously I knew the legend of Ben, and I know the thumbnails version of his history, but how many things he had his hands in, and and how he could how did he have enough time to do that?
So here's the key to him, I think. And you'll see it in the film. So his parents want him to go on a Harvard tenure, track education, but they can only afford a couple years elementary school early. So he has 2 years of schooling. So as the writer H.W. Brand says in our film, he didn't know what he didn't have to know, because school teaches you what you need to know, but also what you don't need to know, right?
Right.
So he figures out he has to learn everything. So he's omnivorous. He reads all the time. He does all that. When he gets to Philadelphia and he's a printer, and he's beginning to make it in the world. He collects like-minded tradesmen, the Leather Apron Club. It was called the Junto, meaning to join together. And what comes out of this and his other civic stuff? The Free Library of Philadelphia, the University of Pennsylvania, hospitals, police forces, volunteer fire departments, ideas on how to pave roads, ideas on how to maintain street lights, all of this stuff that is promoting a civic good at the same time he's improving himself. And our problem today is that we're all independent free agents, and it's just get what I can, and I don't have to care about the other. And this is not a left or right problem. This is an American problem. Franklin points us the way to a kind of optimistic, as you were saying, present where you're filled with the past. A lot of people say history repeats itself. It never does. Mark Twain, who was the second humorist after, Franklin said fish and visitors stink after 3 days. Three people can keep a secret if two of them are dead.
Right.
This is
good stuff.
This is great. He understands that human nature doesn't change. And so you're always up against the foibles of human nature. Even when he is given the great honor of proposing the adoption of the Constitution in 1787 in Philadelphia, he says, look, when you assemble all these people with all their wisdom, you also gather their prejudices. And so you're not going to make a perfect document, and they don't. In order to keep the southern states in so that we're not warring, states on the East Coast, they permit them to count their slaves as 3/5 of a person. It's a horrible compromise, but there wouldn't have been a United States without it. And you can Monday morning quarterback it, and it's going to set in motion the Civil War, the worst event in American history. And Franklin knew it, but within a few months of his government getting started, the government that he helped forge, he sends in a resolution suggesting that they outlaw slavery.
Wow.
Right.
It's great. Wow. When you think about Ben Franklin, the two cities that come to mind are Boston and Philadelphia. And I want to know, Ken, why you think Philadelphia is the better of those two cities.
Well, it's much better. I tell you, so he grows up in Puritan Boston, right? The Cotton Mather and the Mather family are the sort of the religious stuff. And his family is, as I said, kind of lower middle class. They're candle makers. They can't even afford to send him to school. He apprentices, indentured servant, to his older brother James's print shop. Thank God for us. And as a teenager, he's learning to set type upside down and backwards. He becomes hyper literate. He's submitting anonymous letters from an old widow that are hilarious, and they're hugely popular, and the paper takes off. And when his brother finds out about it, he gets jealous. So, the things are good. He runs away. He is a runaway and comes to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, founded by Quakers, a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more aware of native interests. All of these different cultures and religions are there, and he really imbibes it. And he manifested. In fact, at his funeral, the largest gathering of people in the history of Philadelphia, to that point, came together, and at the head were all the religious leaders of all the denominations of all the religions present in Philadelphia: Muslim, Catholic, Jewish, Protestant, all the various Protestant sects. And it's a testament to the fact that he understood that at the heart of all religions is the idea that I need to do better for my fellow citizens.
So, Ken, I've heard him mentioned occasionally as the closest that America will come to a Da Vinci, to someone who is that. I mean, as you said, he just on a scientific level, he could
let's
compete. Go ahead.
So, it's so funny that you said that. I'm friends with Walter Isaacson, who wrote a wonderful biography of Ben, and he's in our film, along with lots of other people who've written biographies of him and scholars about him and stuff like that. But Walter also wrote a wonderful biography of Leonardo da Vinci. And so we're actually in the early stages of producing our first non-American topic on Leonardo. But let's go back and examine. Your question is so to the point. The thing that people don't remember is that when he becomes a revolutionary. He's 69 years old. He's got 15 years to go on this unbelievable life that spans most of the 18th century. Born in 1706, dies in 1790. This is an amazing, amazing life. Born, by the way, on the same day as Muhammad Ali, my last film. He may be the most amazing personality of the 20th century. Ben Franklin is without a doubt the most amazing American personality of the 18th century. But he retires because he's made enough money. He could be fabulously wealthy with the patents, but he's not. And to invent. And in his work with electricity, it's as important as Isaac Newton. I mean, if there were Nobel Prizes back then, he would have had it. He was the most famous American in the world, which is why we sent him to France, because the only person anybody on earth could name who came from America was Benjamin Franklin. And let's just think about it. We just get distracted by the kite experiment. We think the lightning has to strike the kite. It doesn't. He is proving principles that he got. It was parlor tricks about kissing people with static electricity. But now let's think about the names that I'm sure you're not an electrical engineer. I'm not. Right. But if I said to you positive and negative, charge, battery, and conductor, those 5 very easy to understand terms borrowed from other parts of our language. Battery is a military term. These are all coined by Franklin so that the world, not just the scientific community, but everyone could begin to have a relationship with this mysterious force called electricity. When he arrives in France, he's a cult hero. And what's he promoting with his little printing press? Democracy for these people who are subjects of King Louis XVI. It's just, you can't make this stuff up, and why it's so much better, I think, than fiction.
If you're just tuning in, it's Ken Burns, who is his special 4-hour documentary, Benjamin Franklin, premieres tonight and tomorrow, 8 p.m. on PBS. Ken, you mentioned...
You can stream it, by the way. Once it goes out, it's available for free on all the PBS platforms. So look at it when you want.
You mentioned the kite, the lightning strike, and there are myths that surround the amazing individual that was known as Benjamin Franklin. Is that touched on in this stuff, or is that okay?
Yeah. I think this is, myths are like barnacles that attach themselves to the hull of the ship and impede the smooth sailing, right? Yeah. It's just, Washington, wooden teeth. Nope, porcelain. Never told a lie. Everybody lies. Threw a coin across the Potomac, too wide. The Dodgers would hire him.
But I have it on good authority that Kim Jong-un has never gone to the bathroom. So,
that could
right. So I believe that one.
Yeah. He looks a little constipated, doesn't he?
Let me ask you, Ken, because you're obviously
now he's redirected the missiles to New Hampshire.
That's right. They're coming right at us. In the world of documentarians, is there a documentarian that you could see you turning your talents on, who represents a story worth telling? Because
what a wonderful question. What are you thinking about?
I don't know. There's a great series that Seth Meyers does. It's a comedic take on some of the great documentaries like Nanook of the North and other classics. And I was wondering, through your particular prism, is there anyone that jumps out at you that you think?
It's a little bit biased. Nanook of the North is interesting and now deeply flawed because the anthropology of it. There are too many scenes set up. But it's Robert Flaherty, who's considered the first American documentary guy, and some of them are terrific films. I've got a friend, so this is completely biased, who's mainly known for his feature films, the German director Werner Herzog.
Oh, he's
phenomenal. We've been friends for 30 years, and he and I are the oddest couple on earth. We've been friends, and our films couldn't be more different. But I adore him. He's amazing. I just finished another film that'll be out in the fall in the U.S. and the Holocaust. And just by the way, whenever you want a really scary Nazi voice, I always go to Werner. Werner, I need your best Gestapo voice. This quote by Goering is so bad that you just have to drip it with evil. Okay. And then at one point he turns to me and he says, I am interested in a static truth. And my friend Ken here is interested in an emotional truth, and it's like, he goes on and on. I'd like to just go to the depths of Werner's ecstatic truths. And he's done lots of documentaries lately. In fact, more documentaries recently than feature films. And I adore him. He's great.
He's brilliant.
I'm totally biased.
Yeah.
Ken, I had dinner with my parents on Friday night, and I told them that you were going to be on the show this morning. And so my dad's first question, because we all watched baseball together when we were growing up, and it's just such a wonderful tribute to the history of the sport and the current sport and what it's become. But my dad wanted me to ask you, Ken Burns, are the Phillies going to win the NL East this year?
It's so funny. I live within the gravitational pull of Boston, because it isn't the Boston Red Sox, it's the New England Red Sox. So I've been up here for 43 years or more. I've been up for more than 50 years, and if we include some time in Massachusetts. So I've got that disease. And whenever I'm asked, I always say, the Red Sox are going to win this year. And I can't concentrate on anyone else because I'm trying to hold up that, house of cards. Although we have won 4 world championships in this millennium, which, like the last century, they did 4 and then suddenly couldn't kind of connect for, I think it's 86 years anyway.
Yeah, just a brief pause.
Well, yeah, just a slight little hiccup. Right?
Season starts soon. We'll see what happens. Well, then, Ken, it's always such a treat to talk to you. Thank you so much, and we're really excited about the fact that you're focusing in on Ben.
I can't wait for you to see it. I think you'll just feel like, I know this guy. He's real. The past is not past. Faulkner says it's now, and you just sort of feel like, if you get at the good and the bad of somebody, they feel like somebody And I made that mistake. I was talking to a reporter, and I said, I've known him now for like 5 years, and she said, know him? And I said, oops, right, But I do, and I hope you know him too. At the end of this 2-parter,
we're looking forward to it.
Premieres today, and we'll be streaming everywhere that PBS has stuff available. So excellent, Ken. Thank you so much. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
I look forward to that. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Ken Burns, guys. Something else, man. I love talking.
Just
to him.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does his research. He gets on board with things that he's absolutely passionate about.
Preston, imagine if most of your history teachers throughout school were like Ken Burns.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'd actually.
You would have dialed in a little bit, right? Yeah.
And I wish I would have. I look at some of the things. I remember when my kids were entered into middle school, and I was helping them with their homework, and I started reading it. And I'm like, you know what? Now I finally find Mesopotamia fascinating. When I was that age, you could have, I would have rather been punched in the face than read about this stuff. And now I actually care about it.
Yeah.
So, but when you do get a great teacher, when you get somebody who can explain things, or a documentarian, or somebody who's presenting this information, and they do it in an entertaining way, it sets. It's really cool that happens. So with that, we have a little bit of time. We're going to talk to Kevin Bacon, his brother Michael, in a little bit. We got the Bacon brothers come up. They're going to be at Ardmore Music Hall.
Bacon.
But we have a couple of minutes to play with. Casey was delighted at this little thing he was going to do yesterday.
Right.
Not looking forward to going to.
Right.
And you ended up having a great time.
Of course I did. I went to New York City.
But no, it was on Friday. I'm like, what are you doing this weekend? I got to go. I'm going to a Broadway show. I was like, wow, Broadway show? Yeah. He's like, yeah, man, it's on Sunday. It's a matinee, and I don't. It's the music, man, and I don't really. You seemed like you just didn't want to go.
So here's the deal. Like, it was supposed to be my entire family. So
right.
This was a Christmas gift 2 years ago, and we were supposed to go in April of 2020.
Well, what happened to delay it?
Yeah, there was just this crazy series of events that caused everything to move back by 2 years. And so what was supposed to be me, my wife, and my 3 children ended up not being that. Because my daughter was in a play last week and the cast party was yesterday.
Right.
She had worked for months and months on this thing and did not want to miss the cast party. So we allowed her to do that. And then my son plays rugby and he was awarded. So they broke the rugby team into 2 teams, Crimson.
He couldn't attend.
Doesn't matter.
Long story short, he made the A team, and they had a game yesterday, and so he went to that game. And my wife, because rugby can be a tough sport, didn't want him to be there without a parent, so she ended up going there. So
Everyone had good excuses.
Everybody had great
But you're
excuses.
left high and dry.
Well, not high and dry, but it was supposed to be this family thing, and it ended up not being that. But I ended up taking my daughter, a friend of hers, and then Chuck and Leanne D'Amico ended up going with us. And just getting into New York City can be kind of a hassle. So
it's always wonderful.
Yeah, well,
it's always a joy.
Well, I decided sort of last-ish minute to
Take the train?
Take the train.
All right.
I picked Chuck and Leanne up in New Jersey, and then we drove to Hamilton, and we took the New Jersey Transit. Okay. And it started off in great form there, Preston, because as I'm buying my train tickets, five round-trip train tickets to Penn Station, I ended up buying round-trip tickets to Penn Station in Newark.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, you could just walk from there, right?
Yeah. You just walk from Newark, New Jersey. First of all, don't have two Penn stations.
I would agree
that
with you
begins
there.
with NEW.
Oh, that Washington Monument.
Yeah,
I would agree with you.
So it was Newark Penn Station, and then there's a New York Penn Station. I order it.
That's insipid.
I pay for it. The tickets come out, and it's not until I'm looking at it where it says NWK. It doesn't even on the ticket doesn't say Newark. NWK could be New York.
Yeah.
It was not. I found out my issue, but as it turns out, I'm not the only one who makes that mistake.
Right.
So
they could fix it for you.
They could fix it for us,
right.
and they did fix it for us.
Right.
We get to Penn Station.
Right.
We're about a mile away from the
theater.
From the theater. And by the way, Hugh Jackman is the Music Man. All right. So that was like the big thing is Hugh Jackman. This dude is just like,
It's the big sell. He is super talented. He's like a theater dynamo.
It's unfair how awesome he is. He's
Right.
just, super handsome, super fit, super talented, and
Very nice.
very nice guy, like on top of it all.
Yep.
But so he's such this big name that I'm not even paying attention to the other
Take
star
his
of the
pants off.
The other star of the show, who is her name is Sutton Foster.
Would we know her from anything?
Well, she's a 2-time Tony Award winner.
Okay.
She has been in a ton of different shows. She
Right.
won a Tony for, I think, Anything Goes, and another show. She played Fiona in Shrek the Musical. She's been in everything. So I am completely unaware of who and what I am about to witness. She was awesome as well.
So this is a matinee performance.
It's a matinee performance.
It's kind of wild that you're seeing the main muckety muck at a matinee.
Yeah. It was. I mean, dude, believe me.
Yeah.
If we would have gotten the
It was
understudy,
supposed to be Terry Bradshaw.
well, that would have been good. I would have been totally fine with Terry Bradshaw.
trouble.
Right here in Riverdale. With a capital P, I'm not good at spelling.
But sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it.
Had you ever seen The Music Man before?
Never, ever in my life have I seen it all the way through.
It's a great movie, and that's when I was introduced to it. And you hear so many of the songs, and they are some of the catchiest songs
I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my
I'm playing
hand
this
are
while you're
gold.
talking.
Yeah.
No, you can continue. This is going underneath you.
They're just amazing. It's an incredible music. I've never seen it live, maybe like a high school production or whatever. But I love the movie. And so, how much of it did you know going in?
So I didn't know the story. I didn't know that the Music Man was a con man.
He's a con man.
who ends up in River City.
Yep.
I have no idea. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that essentially the Music Man is bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Just trying to make money. Yep.
Yeah, but I was surprised with how many songs I did know from the musical. I had so the first song was this really cute song they're singing on the train or whatever, but then he does Trouble in River City. I'm like, okay, I know that song. And then he does 76 Trombones.
76 trombones.
I'm like, okay, I know this song. This is a good one.
With
All the songs are
I
great.
know this one, Hugh.
I stood up, I was like, I know this one.
Rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band.
So the musical was written, I guess, back in '57 is when it debuted on Broadway, and so all of the music is of a time, but man, it is really, really good. Then they get to this song, and I was like, I completely forgot that this was the Music Man.
Now, a woman who kissed on the very first date is usually a hussy, and a woman who
Buddy Hackett,
Yeah, it's Buddy Hackett, Buddy Hackett.
But a woman who waits till the third time around, head in the clouds, feet on the ground. She's the girl he's glad he's found. She's his spook.
She has this part in the second act. I was like, she was so funny. I was like, and I was just cracking up, and I was like, okay, this is really, really well written.
Yeah, that's how it becomes an American standard.
Absolutely.
I mean, it stood the test of time. That's why every high school and junior high will perform it at some time.
Then in the second act, Sutton Foster's character, couldn't tell you what her name is.
Yeah.
She's a librarian. She starts
Marion.
Marion, okay.
Yeah.
So she starts singing this song.
Marion the librarian.
I don't pay attention to these things. She starts singing this song, and I'm like, I know this song, but I don't know it from the Music Man. I know it from the Wedding Singer. It's the song that Adam Sandler's character teaches the old lady to sing to her husband on their anniversary.
What song is it? How does it go?
Till there was you.
Okay.
And you're such a fan of musicals. I'm really surprised you didn't know this one ahead of time.
Well, I am as well, but like also at the same time, I felt like, well, I do know this one.
Yeah,
you know,
Case, when did they put on their cat costume?
they did not. No, that's a different one. I believe.
Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the title.
The name.
Right.
Mhm.
But
Catman.
I was, of course, when the lights go down, I kind of get a little sleepy, so I fell asleep a couple times in the first act.
So what did you wake up to? Did you wake up to the sound of a vacuum cleaner in the alley, in the aisle?
So you wore a baseball cap and fell asleep in the theater.
Yes, I did.
Hey, don't go. Time to wake up.
Did you ever see Marge versus the Monorail, the Simpsons episode where
So my wife was talking about that last night.
that's
and
based on the Music Man as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole monorail scene and that entire character is based on the Music Man, on Robert Preston's character.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I just I know that it showed up in the Family Guy. And
Yeah, you were saying that you thought the city itself just never looked better, right?
Oh man, like it's so gross. So it's like New York City's just a gross city. Like and you could say that about any city, but like I don't feel that way when I walk around Philadelphia. Now listen,
It has
also,
had a conga line of ineptitude there, and to me it's kind of looking like in the Times Square area has kind of degenerated. Did you go down?
Times Square was actually I thought the nicest part of it, right? So when we got down to like Broadway, we made our way through Times Square. Listen, there's some people that are like in these costumes where oh, you're Minnie Mouse, but I can see your full face. And she's like, "Do you want a picture?" I was like, "No, I don't. You're not Minnie
even
Mouse."
trying.
Yeah, I don't want a picture with with
knockoff.
It's bad now. It's way worse than it used to be.
Right. But it was wet. And that doesn't help. And so I feel like Manhattan, New York City, like when it's 75 degrees, no humidity, and crystal clear blue skies is like the only time that I'm really like, man, this is a great city.
You're going to have, as Preston said, there are parts that are really good. The parts that have gone downhill, though, have gone down a lot. So, but also there's, a lot of what they're doing now is just, they just started opening up stuff. Did you walk around? Did you go to any other places besides
so the
show?
We grabbed lunch beforehand, but we didn't have a whole lot of time. It was a mile. We got off at Penn Station in New York City.
Yeah.
And it was a mile away from the theater. And we walked to and from there. So we walked down 8th Street to there and then came back on like Broadway and 7th Street. And so that was fine. It was wild, though, because I don't know how legal marijuana is there. I don't know if it's recreational there yet or not, or if it's just medical. But Steve, you could smell it as soon as when we were in the tunnels of Penn Station, where you can't see anything. It's just smelling it. You could smell it, and then you get out
on the streets as well.
On the streets, they have Winnebagos. They have like pot. Like almost like a hot dog stand, pot stands and stuff like that. I was like, this is pretty wild.
I don't know what their status is. It sounds like they're a little bit more liberal than.
It looked very recreational. I don't know if you had to hand.
Or maybe
the
law really involves Winnebagos.
But and then I saw at least 3 people smoking joints or blunts out like they were cigarettes.
Well, there's kind of called up the law there.
All right, so it's now legal for adults 21 and older to possess up to 3 ounces of cannabis and up to 24 grams of cannabis for personal use in New York. And by the way, like I have zero opinions on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't smoke pot anymore, and so. But, as I'm walking with my 12-year-old daughter down the street and there's, dudes smoking joints and blunts.
When she says Irene, she's...
Irene. By the way, here's a little bit of a Till There Was You. We're going to play the Beatles had a huge hit with this song. Yeah. Here, give me your...
and I know that song. Dude, they had a freaking like the most realistic looking horse and wagon coming across the stage. I was like,
Really?
Yes, I was.
Was it a horse?
It was not a horse. I mean, when I first saw it, because we were off to the side.
It was a cow acting.
I could see it on the side of the stage. I'm like, okay, here comes the Wells Fargo wagon with a horse, and I had to like give it like a quadruple take. I'm like, that is a fake horse, right? I'm like, yeah, no, that's totally fake.
Is that fake?
Casey, at the end, when the cast comes out and they do their bows and everything, did Hugh say anything to the audience?
So that was the coolest part. Is so yesterday was
Hugh Jackman, by the way, if you're just tuning in.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, and so there was it's Broadway recognizes there's like AIDS awareness and so that was like that's the one day of the year. So they started. He addressed the whole audience, trying to collect money for this charity, and then they ended up auctioning off the gloves that he and Sutton were wearing to the highest bidder. So they did an auction in the audience.
How much?
Holy hell.
$16,000. In fact, it was going back and forth with these people, and this one guy had bid 16, and then the lady was like, I could do 16.5. And then they ended up saying, you know what, you guys both get it, right? So they ended up, because there's two gloves, right? So we'll each.
I want the complete set.
Yeah.
Suck it.
For a while, because they started bidding at 1,000, and for a second there, I'm like, I don't want this, but I just want to bid just to bid.
Up it,
but I was like,
100,000.
No, I was contemplating.
I don't have it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was so excited.
I'm so excited. I got carried away. I'm sorry, Hugh Jackman.
I have wanted to do that on so many occasions, but I'm so terrified of getting caught.
Right,
you'll be the
stuck
bid.
with the bid.
You'll be the
So
winning
just
bid.
take the bid before you raise it a quarter. You'll be safe.
But when it was at about
$1,025.
when it was at about $3,000, I was like, I think I might be able to jump up here, and I'm like, but I can't if I get stuck with a $4,000, even though it's tax deductible. Right. I'm like, I'm not gonna. So
for
I did
a cruddy glove.
Yeah, for a cruddy glove. But no, it was cool. I enjoyed myself, and we didn't even realize until we were leaving that the Flyers were playing right upstairs as we were catching our train out of there.
So it was, when you were leaving at Penn Station,
Yeah, we had no clue.
Were you at the Jerkmates Theater?
I was like, hang on a second. Do you hear that?
Yo, ever heard of Jerkmates?
What theater was it? Do you remember?
It's called Winter Garden Theater.
It's legendary. They're all legendary, but Winter Garden is right at Madison Square Garden.
I'm also so mad because what I didn't realize is that the diner, the last time I was in the city, the diner is called Ellen's Stardust Diner. It might be Starlight, but it is this amazing place where, I mean, Broadway caliber singers are your wait staff essentially. And so as you're ordering your food, or eating your food, like your waiter or waitress will get up on stage and sing a song, and it's just really, really great. But the last time we went, we had to wait in line for an hour and a half to get a table. And when we were walking past it to get to the theater, there was like 5 people in line. I'm like, this would have been, but we didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough time before the show. But if anybody ever goes up there for a Broadway show, budget yourself enough time to go to Ellen's Starlight Diner. It's awesome.
And other than New York City being an absolute cesspool, you had a great time.
I had a great time. I had a really, really wonderful time.
A lot of times we talk about this, getting out of your head and just go be fluid, and sometimes you find out you're going to have a wonderful time.
Yeah. And when I was coming off of the train in Hamilton, there was a couple there that they're listeners to the show. I didn't get their names, but hi guys. But they, Preston, went and saw the final showing of Utopia. Of the David Byrne show.
Yeah, the final showing?
It was last night. But they may do another run, but last night was or yesterday afternoon. That's another show that I would love to go see.
Yeah, me too. I would like to get there. I haven't been to New York in a dozen years, probably.
So I lived there for years. I suppose with formative born. Yeah. I have not been to New York. I'm going to say like 12, 15 years.
Yeah. Nick, you were there on Saturday night.
I was. Yeah, I haven't been since Saturday.
Long time.
Yeah, I went up and saw a hockey game on Saturday afternoon. I saw Claude Giroux play with the Panthers against the Devils, which was really cool to see. I'd never been to the Devils arena before. It's a really, really nice arena in the heart of Casey, downtown Newark. And
I've been there a couple times, actually.
But we drove up, although my friend Narayan took the Amtrak train up, which was easy for him because he went to Newark instead of New York. Got off at the right place. But yeah, I mean, it's a really nice venue, a really good place to see a hockey game. Were we wrapping up?
Yeah, but you can keep talking.
I'm sorry. I thought you were giving me like the wrap-up sign. I missed it. I
We're going to break to stay on time for the Kevin and Michael, the Bacon Brothers.
Gotcha.
That's a general signal that I use, but go ahead.
I know. I just misunderstood for a second.
Yeah.
The coolest part, other than the Panthers coming back to win 7-6 in overtime, was that there was an entire section, like 120 people, dressed as referees. And they weren't there to root for the Panthers. They weren't there to root for the Devils. They were there to root for the refs. And anytime the refs did anything exciting, they cheered. It was the funniest thing.
Oh, that's
it was hilarious.
So is that a standard there?
Right.
It's this thing that's grown over the years, and it started off as like 15 or 20 people, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger every year. And this year, they do it for charities. They try to pick afternoon games, so it was a 12:30 game. And I want to give a shout out to a guy named Merg, because I met a few of these people afterwards, and Merg lives in New York City, but podcasts the Preston and Steve show, and he's like, "Are you Nick McElwain from WMMR?" And I was just chatting to these guys about why they were there.
Wild.
And so they raised money for Ukraine relief this time around, which was really cool. But like a massive section of fans just rooting for the refs.
That's very funny.
It was really fun and really funny. And yeah, a cool place to see a hockey game.
And that's like, they just do it there?
They just do it at the Devils games.
It's like the Sons of Ben, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We thought, Steve, it might be like the Sons of Ben every year, or
Right.
for every game, but it was just this section for this game, and I guess they do a few afternoon games every
that's
year.
funny.
But it was really funny and really entertaining. And
How soon before the vendors get a...
Well, the mascot for the New Jersey Devils is a guy dressed up as a devil, and he went up and was partying with them for half of a period as well. So
That's great.
It was cool to see Giroux. It was weird to see him in a Panthers uniform, and
Did you get to speak with him at all?
I texted him ahead of time and said, and he said, "Who's this?" No, he was like, that's cool, but I didn't think we were going to be able to say hi to him because they were kind of in and out just for that game.
Right.
All right, well, an exciting weekend for everybody headed up to New York. We got to take a break. Like I said, playing at the Ardmore Music Hall tomorrow night will be the Bacon Brothers. Kevin and Michael will join us when we return, so make sure you stay with us. Yes, bacon for all.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR. 93.3 WMMR presents...
Her Royal Majesty will now suck her chin into her mouth as part of the royal gurning. Her Royal Majesty will contort her face by sucking her chin up into her mouth.
If you're not familiar with gurning, it's when people take their false teeth out and suck their lips into their mouth.
If you know what bitter beer face is.
Yeah, that's gurning. So she was seen gurning during two virtual audiences with Windsor Castle. So yeah,
Prince Charles will gurn simply by standing there.
No, it was grinning is the word I read incorrectly. So.
By the way, this very bell came from England.
No.
Really?
Yes, it did. I ordered it on Amazon, and it came, and there was the parcel information said from England. So maybe it's the one the Queen uses.
It might be.
Where's my goddamn bell?
the gurning.
I sold it on Amazon.
There we go. We had mentioned this earlier this morning, but it's definitely worth bringing up. The restaurant named Cadence, which is a BYOB on Girard Avenue, was named the best new restaurant by Food and Wine.
That's a super well respected journal in the world of the culinary happenings.
Yeah.
And so this is a big honor.
But in the order, you have Cadence is number one in Austin, Texas. Suerte. Frenchette in New York. Conby in Los Angeles. Kumiko in Chicago. These are all one-word names.
Manny's Chili Dogs.
Ah, that's on there. No, Pat's Chili Dogs.
Pat's Chili Dogs.
Yes.
Definitely the best theme.
Yeah.
Number one in Food and Wine magazine. Yeah, baby.
That was from the band Cinderella when they were big in the area. They did
Hi, we're Warren. When we're in town, we want some good chili dogs. We always read through Food and Wine magazine to see who won.
They did a commercial for Pat's Dogs.
That building is now a
We buy gold.
Oh, is it really?
We buy gold. Gold for sale. No more chili dogs. I'm not going where.
next.
Next step, selling blood.
Yeah. So number 6 on this list is Ada, which is Ada Indian Canteen.
Ooh, I love canteens. When you go in that, and you need water.
Fox and the Knife in Boston.
Boston sucks.
Hey, we beat Boston.
Yeah.
Love me some good Fox.
There you go.
Suck at Boston.
How's the Fox at this place?
Indigo in Houston, Nightshade in Los Angeles, and in New Orleans, a place called Piece of Meat.
There you go. You know, it's I think one of the most difficult parts of a restaurant would be a name that means something and pops to people.
Yeah.
You know, like Pat's Chili Dogs.
Right. That's. Yeah, I mean, you know, the name will only get you so far, but it is an added bonus. Answer the phone, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't know. If you had a restaurant, what would you name it?
I'd name it Answer the Phone.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm tired of waving my arms.
Yeah.
It's been happening
You
the
lose
last few
business.
days, and I'm just going to say answer the phone.
Answer
from
the
now
goddamn
on.
phone.
Yeah, answer. In fact, I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the restaurant.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn phone! Great food! Answer the goddamn phone! Open all night!
We've been mentioning all morning long, tickets for the MM Barbecue go on sale right now. It is exactly 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets. The lawn seats start at just $25, and we want you to get on board because we want you to be there for all of the bands and all the activities that are taking place. We're going to have Aaron Jones, who we just played, Dorothy, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen's band, Mammoth, he will be there. Dirty Honey, Cheap Trick, The Offspring, and the band that this gentleman is in, who is joining us right now. We're so excited to have Jane's Addiction on the bill.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've seen them before. I saw them at the Spectrum ages ago.
Amazing, right?
Blew me out of the water. One of my favorite shows in that building of all time. Please welcome Mr. Dave Navarro. Our show today. Good morning, Dave.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. That's a very nice welcome.
It's our pleasure, man. Like I said, yeah, I've seen you guys before. I know the kind of energetic show that you bring, and that you guys get the audience in on the party. You make it happen, and it's been a while since we've partied, Dave. So big expectations.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, big expectations for me too. I got to tell you, the other night, LA is starting to open up and have indoor eating and dining and things like that. And I went to a restaurant the other night, and it was overwhelming. Just people and noise and things going on and plates being dropped. And then I thought forward to our show coming up in September. I was like, man, I'm not even prepared to be in a restaurant.
Baby steps.
But you know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be like walking out onto like a festival audience with you guys? But I'm excited to do it, man. It's been a long time. So
the way
we're pretty psyched.
The way it's progressing is that the show is it's at the end of September. So again, everyone's sort of feeling their way. It's like the cobwebs are lifting and the doors are opening and everyone's looking above ground. And by that time, I think we're going to be in a nice swing of thing. But I can't think of a better scenario, especially since it'll be a little bit cooler in September.
Yeah.
And the roster's great. And Preston's seen you guys a number of times, and I've always wanted to see Jane's Addiction, and people are freaking out.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm also super excited to see Wolfgang band.
Yes. Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit about that, David. I want to get your take on this because the music that we've heard so far, very impressive. He had a lot to live up to, and that's another thing. And I'm hoping for the best because not only is he a young musician trying to make his way, but I need somebody to carry on that Eddie
legacy.
The mantle?
Thank you. Yeah. And that's got to be a tremendous amount of pressure on him, I assume. I'm sure he's gladly going to take this on, but it's got to be a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I would imagine the best thing for him is to acknowledge that and be aware of it, but to just do his own thing, man. Yeah. He's his own human being, and like he's got his direction musically. And from what I've seen, it is very different than Van Halen. It's a little bit more, more modern rock, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic, and I want to see him. I want to check out the band, and I'm going to do everything in my power to not tell him how much your dad meant to me.
It's hard though, right?
You know, it's going to be impossible, but you know how hard that's going to be to not do. But yeah, I mean, I hope the best for him, and I typically don't get to when we do these festival shows. I typically don't get to them early, but I'm definitely going to come down and check out Wolfie, and I'll probably check out Cheap Trick too, because Xander's a friend, and I played with him a bunch of times. And a weird side note for me is that I think the first concert I ever went to was Cheap Trick opening up for Kiss.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so to be on the same bill with them as Cheap Trick and as Jane's Addiction is a pretty big deal for me. Just in terms of like, you know, having a little personal clash with my own history, I suppose.
Well, Dave, I have to tell you, I had my upper thigh felt at a backyard barbecue to a Cheap Trick song in the 70s. So, yes.
I don't know that we can top that experience for you.
I mean, that was good.
Hey,
Dave, at least you had that.
I wanted to ask, you know, with the length of time it's been since musicians have had a chance to do live shows. I mean, you can pick up the guitar and you can play it and you can keep your chops going, you know, just doing a little rehearsing here and there and writing whatever you may be doing. But is there a difference between being, you know, keeping the instrument fresh and being on stage? Or do you have to get your stage legs together, essentially, is what I'm asking?
I mean, I don't know. We've been doing it for so long. And, you know, believe it or not, Jane's Addiction has historically taken years off, years of hiatuses. And so, yeah, we're just coming out of COVID, and yeah, it's been a while since we've been on stage, but we are ironically very used to getting back together after years of not doing it. So hopefully we are experienced in trying to make it look seamless once we get back on the stage. But usually when the first downbeat happens and Perry gets into his trip, it's pretty easy to get lost in that environment and just kind of go back to second nature.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately, a lot of these songs have been with us for 30 years, you know, so it should be pretty seemeless.
Well, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt. Dave Grohl has this special coming out about the van life, evolutionary period of a band. Was that you guys? Was that Jane's? Were you guys doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We our first tour was in a van with the entire band and the one crew member that we had and all of our gear in a U-Haul behind us, and like literally taking turns driving and just freezing and sick and hating each other and in close quarters. And when you do get to a motel, you all share a room. Like it was, you know, the early days were rough stuff.
Well, I was surprised to find out when Dave is mentioning when Nevermind came out, this album is out. It's starting to hit. They're still in a van traveling to shows. It is, you know, this is a groundbreaking record. This is huge. This is rock and roll history right here. And they're still driving around a van. When Nothing Shocking, were you guys still doing the van thing when that came out?
I know that we had a couple of tiers. So we went from a van to what we thought was a great idea, which was a Winnebago.
Okay.
So it wasn't quite a bus. It was a Winnebago. It was literally like a mobile home. And we broke out a window. One of the side windows got shattered somehow. So we were literally touring around the East Coast in the dead of winter.
Oh, no.
With just freezing cold 75-mile-an-hour wind just wafting through the Winnebago.
Did you try to tape up like a trash bag or something?
Well, you try. Yeah, you try everything. And then finally at some point you're like, fuck it, we'll deal with it. And we just... we just sat there and like dealt with it. But I think that, you know, I think there's something to be said about those old days that like we really, I don't know that we would be the same band without them. You know, we really had to, I mean, there were gigs, we were putting in vans and we'd pull up to the club and we would load out and load in our own gear ourselves. So it would be like a Jane's Addiction show. Thank you. Good night. And then start winding up cables and putting guitars in cases and trying to push your amp off the stage, get ready for the next band. I really appreciate having had those experiences. As much as I would never want to do them again,
Yeah.
I think they really taught us how to be a band.
I was in my 20s. I was a band guy. I'm a drummer. And so just a couple of last year, I was like, I got together with some guys. We created a cover band, and we went out and we played some gigs. And I tell you what, Dave, on that first night, at 3 o'clock in the morning when we're putting the last bit of crap back into the van, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking, man? This sucks. You know?
It's a little different when you're 17
Yes.
and you're pushing stuff in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yep.
Right now, like, my lower spine cannot handle turning an amp.
It's just not going to happen.
Dave, we're able to Zoom with you right now, and looking over your shoulder, is that a cuckoo clock up on the wall? And if so, what's the story behind that?
Actually, there's probably 12 of them in this house. I collect them.
That's cool.
It's just a weird thing. And, you know, cuckoo clocks, when I was a kid, that was like in cartoons, that was the symbol of crazy.
Yeah.
Like if someone was crazy, you'd see a little cuckoo or a bird would come out. And I just kind of came with this whole embracing. I do a company called Dual Diagnosis, which is it's an art/clothing company that's geared at lifting the stigma of mental health issues.
Right.
And you know, there's a whole story behind the cuckoo. I don't know if you know about it, but if you look inside that box, it's all complicated gears and springs and coils and wires. There's this little bird that's trapped in there. It can't fly out because it's held down by these weights.
Yeah.
You see the weights that hang down?
Right.
Which could be, you know, its emotional baggage, for instance. And so until it drops that baggage, it can't fly and reach its full potential.
Wow.
And it's locked in this confusing box that's making it crazy. So, yeah, I collect them, and then we also use them artistically throughout the Dual Diagnosis company, and that's spelled D-U-A-L.
Information available at ArdmoreMusicHall.com, and I understand they were just kicking around the set list as we were getting ready to bring them on for this interview. Yes, so we're excited to have them both on. Both Kevin and Michael Bacon, the Bacon Brothers, are with us this morning. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
So Marissa said she caught a little earful there as you guys were getting ready that you were going over set lists and getting yourselves all prepped. You like to, I assume that means you like to change it up per show, right, Michael? Is that something, kind of see what the flow is going to be like?
Not according to me. It was my brother who's trying to change everything up after we got it all set. But
pain in the ass, little brother.
I can be flexible. I mean, this show is just so good that we're really worried that we're going to overexcite the audience, so we might want to just turn it.
That must be a risk, that you are so entertaining that there's some sort of issue, some medical issue that occurs. You got to tamp it down a bit.
Yeah, it is. It's always a risk.
Well, this is cool. Listen, we've been talking, and Kevin, we talked to you a couple times throughout the past 2 years and stuff you were doing, and you know, and getting out here and there. But things seem to be a little bit more robust and more likely to continue on this trajectory of allowing you to go out and perform and do this stuff. You know, so. The question, I guess, that I'm getting to here is, during the time that you guys, you know, were dealing, as we all were, with the past 2 years, was there just a massive influx of creativity, or how did you meter that time? Was there a mad rush at the end so you didn't feel that you'd wasted that time to create a lot of music?
Well, you know, it's interesting because it went through for me, sort of roller coaster phases. I mean, for the most part, I'm a pretty... when it comes to filling the time with something, I'm very, very self-motivated at that. I think it kind of comes from the fact that, you know, in my other job, I work and then I don't work, you know, and then I work a little while and then I don't work. I don't have anything steady. It's not like my time is always backed up on the weekends. So I'm constantly thinking of things to do, to songs to write, things to build, drawing. I'm just like, my head is always kind of spinning with that sort of thing and projects. So for the most part, I was very busy during the pandemic. I mean, I have to say that I did hit a wall in terms of the songwriting, and then for whatever reason, that just kind of opened up for me, and you know, a bunch popped out, and Mike wrote a great song, and so we have a 5-song EP that is has really been created, I guess, mostly during the pandemic with different, ways and sharing files and all that kind of stuff. So we're excited about that.
Kevin, you mentioned your other job, and by following on social media, I can only assume that you mean tending to the goats, because that seems to be the bulk of what you post on social media is you and your goats, man.
I know, it's silly. Well, I mean, the goats were, again, that was a whim, a pandemic whim. I mean, people did some crazy, it's like Corona madness, and I got them got two of them, the first two for my wife for our anniversary, because, she kind of is the girl that has everything. And she loved them, and then we just kept expanding, and, we have pigs and alpacas and more goats and miniature horses, and did a whole bunch of that kind of stuff.
Well, let me ask you then, and Michael, perhaps this is it, since the Beach Boys, struck with pet sounds, can you guys collaborate on goat sounds for the next album?
Let's start working on that, Kevin. Goat and alpaca. Let's see. Tobacco?
Yeah, tobacco.
Alpaca tobacco.
Kevin mentioned writing a great song. I'm assuming that he's referring to this. And I'm going to play a clip of this. This is in memory of When I Cared. Now, I'm going to let our audience hear some of this if they've not heard it.
Lesson learned, love ain't fair. Even burn the bed we share. This song's in memory of when I cared.
I'm digging the production. I mean, it's a great song. It's really cool, but the production around this has got a really cool vibe to it. Who did this? Did you guys produce it yourselves, or who all is involved that gave it this full vibe?
This is a really old friend of mine named Joe Nicolo, who owned Studio 4 for many years and was the owner of Rough House Records with Lauryn Hill and the Fugees and all that kind of stuff. And we sort of rekindled our I've been living outside in Chester County for the last couple of years, and we rekindled our friendship, and he was doing a charity event where he was producing records to put out for a charity about teenage addiction. And said, do you want to do a couple songs? So we said, sure. And his studio is 20 minutes from my house, and he's in Audubon. And he has this great rhythm section, and they just killed it. Also, we wrote the song with Desmond Child, who you guys probably know is the writer. Yeah, and that was a really interesting. We haven't really done that much collaboration. It was really interesting to see Desmond's processes. And we kind of cranked the song out, produced it, and I think it's really exciting. It's kind of a new direction for us. It's a little less what we call folk rosoco, which is folk rock soul country. That's how we describe our sound. A little more contemporary, I think.
Yeah, you definitely get that vibe. And Desmond's a hit machine. I mean, the guy has cranked out some amazing stuff. Was it interesting to watch him? As songwriters have their different processes. They have their different way to go about things. And was it cool to watch him create and pick up a few things?
It was not only fascinating, but so completely different than the way that we write songs. He had a piano there that he never touched. There were a couple guitars there. I kept trying to, pick it up and sort of noodle around with it. But it was really more about he's got a very analytical way of looking at song construction. And he's got interesting rules, that he follows in terms of like rhyme structure. And these are all things that never really occurred to us. I mean, we try to write lyrics that rhyme and stuff like that, but he's got a really interesting point of view. But on top of that, he also really wants to connect with the people that he's written the song with. So it's not all just analytics. I mean, for instance, we went over to his pad and spent, a few hours with him, never even picked up an instrument, never sang a lick, never talked about it. It was just a first kind of discussion sort of about our lives, about his life, and then it was just a fun, cool process. I mean, I learned a lot from him.
So with you guys, and I'll direct to Michael first. Can you listen back at a song and does that serve as a snapshot of that time you wrote that song, or once it's created and you're performing it regularly on stage, does it just become part of the inventory, or is it something like akin to looking to a photo album for you as the song creators?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are two kinds of songwriters and two kinds of songs. One I call Tin Pan Alley. You make a date with someone like we did with Desmond, and you crank out a song. And the other is more introspective. They call it confessional songwriting. So you're actually trying to encapsulate some experience you had. And yes, as you in the second part of the song, the second part of the types of songs, which I would say most of the time we are more in that area. Something bad happens, we write a song about it. Something good happens, we write a song about it. But with Desmond, it definitely was the first one. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't feel any particular connection of an experience that was. I feel a connection with the construction of the song. So but then getting back to your question, when you sing it, yeah, you try to. I mean, that's kind of, I don't mind singing songs for 20 years as long as I can always connect with the way I wrote it.
It's interesting because there's I did stand up for a while, and then a lot of comedians will come in and we'll talk, and you mentioned rules, Kevin, that various people have as far as song construction, but ultimately the rule, as in comedy, is if they laugh, it worked. There you go. And I assume as much as you can rule up something creative, if it gets to what you want, it's hard. What may work for something doesn't always work for something else. So there's never really a hard and fast.
Yeah, I mean, in the movie business, we have a term which is one for the meal and one for the reel. And the idea is that you do things that are sort of very personally creative, and you put those on the reel, and then if you want to keep doing what you do, you can also try to make something that is accessible to a bunch of people. So I think that to find both of those things, I would agree that when I always find that I do better singing a song, performing a song, if I try to remember what the emotional connection is to it. And that's probably because I'm an actor. And I think also with a song like Memory of When I Care, we wrote it with another person. And even though the experience is not necessarily specific to my experience, that doesn't matter to me because that's what I do for a living. I walk in people's shoes who, are not me. So to connect with it emotionally is fun, and if the music is good, I can feel it.
If you're just joining it, Michael and Kevin Bacon, they are playing, the Bacon Brothers are playing Ardmore Music Hall tomorrow night. We're doing this interview via Zoom. Michael is wearing a shirt that has one of those little doohickeys that you put in the middle of a 45 so that it will play on an album, right. Just the little post that a record album would go on. Does that thing have a name? Does anybody know? Michael, do you have any idea what that thing is called? I've never known.
I don't, but it's funny you mention that because I teach it in colleges. I'm a music professor, and I'll show this shirt to my students. They'll have no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
That's funny.
Even if they might know what an album is. Yeah. Like a 45 doesn't even exist in anybody's memory or in the younger generation these days. But I still love that.
Speaking of 45s, not to get too sentimental, but I don't know if I've ever expressed this to you guys. WMMR was such a huge part of our upbringing in that, for me, it was opened up a whole new world of music when, I listened to WFIL Wiffle and to AM and to WDAS. And then MMR sort of came on the radar, and I remember when it was, when we were switching over to FM and FM rock, and it really was like kind of a mind-blowing sort of moment in a way. And part of it was it's those little things on Michael's shirt were no longer being used because you were needle dropping onto albums and playing sometimes whole albums, and that was a big change.
There's a special relationship
there.
Yeah, no, a special relationship. I mean, we've talked about it with And that's why it's an honor to be a part of terrestrial radio and of this station with this history, because there's something that happens with music. There's something that happens with the curator, the DJ who's going to bring you the music. There's, and I think in the realm of entertainment, you'd be hard pressed to find a more visceral and personal relationship with the way the art is dispensed. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I do have upstairs in my drawer, I wish I had an MMR t-shirt from probably about 1975 or something.
Wow. Yeah, you had we saw we had noted you posted a video one day where you were playing a blues lick or two or just playing some blues songs, and you were wearing that MMR shirt. We were like, yes, and it is in prime condition, by the way. You have really taken care of that.
I keep it under glass.
Nice, man. Well, when you so Michael's here, obviously you're in the area all the time, and Kevin, when you come back in, are there any places you like to hit, or do you get to spend some time, or is it usually in for the gig and then you're back out?
It's usually in for the gig and back out. Although, even if we're not playing, I do come down. We have, let's see, 2 sisters. Mike is spending a lot of time down there. My nephew and his wife and his daughter. So there's a lot of family, actually more family back in Philadelphia now than there has been for years.
So Michael, you're 9 years Kevin senior, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so and you were playing cello, as I recall, or if I'm misstating this, please correct me. And it was your sister who taught you guitar, and that started the whole ball rolling. Is that correct?
Yeah, she was taking lessons on a baritone ukulele, which I still have, and she would come home and teach me what she learned. So I never actually took any guitar lessons, but she was really, besides her, she was really my first teacher. And our household was, extremely creative. That's what our parents really valued more than anything. I mean, we didn't do well in school. We didn't have any sports, but, if you wanted acting lessons or dancing lessons or music lessons, that was always a yes.
Speaking about being creative, the the Grammys were last night, and I don't have a whole lot invested into the Grammys. I don't dive too much into a lot of current music, but I did find John Batiste, who was an accepting award last night, a really cool statement in that, and paraphrasing was that. He said, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that there's a best musician. I don't believe that there's a best actor. I don't believe that there is a best in these subjective categories, and that we should just, and Steve, you said there was another thing. He said that music is like a radar. It kind of finds you when you need it.
It finds who needs it the most.
Yeah. And I was just curious what you guys' thoughts are on something like that, because we've seen the rock categories aren't even on the telecast any longer, and it's kind of disappointing for us. And I was kind of happy to hear somebody who's winning that big award say, look, we're all in this to be creative. It's nice to get these awards, but really, you can't put a label on the best.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I find award shows kind of ridiculous, because it just, there's no way to, it's not a race. You can't do a stopwatch. And I think Batiste was exactly right on with that.
It's weird. So you Michael, you yourself, you've won you won an Emmy. I think, was it for scoring the Kennedys?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you also scored Loverboy, one of Kevin's films?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, is that for all the time that you spent in music, is when you're doing something for your brother and a passion project, was there a bit of extra nervousness in that, or was it just another day on the job?
Well, it wasn't another day on the job, because any film scoring is a really weird profession, because music is so completely subjective, and at the same time, you are there to write music to support a film. You're not there to write a hit song or write a symphony, and you have to understand what your role is in supporting the film. And the film is the dream child of the director, and a director that's easy to work with is one that is very definite. That's wrong. Can you change that here? This, you got to take that melody out. It's too sweet. And luckily, my brother is one of those kinds of directors. So once we got in the heat of battle, it was just like working for anybody else. And he was competent in what he wanted to do, and it was a great experience.
I might also add that, for me, I had never worked with a composer with all my time on sets and having made so many movies. This was the first time that I was ever in a post-production situation. So I learned a lot from Michael about how to kind of communicate and the things that actually make sense and the things that land. And, being, I'm a musician, but I'm not the kind of musician that he is in terms of being able to score and notate and understand, counterpoint and deep harmonies and all that kind of stuff. So, I was kind of shooting in the dark in terms of what I was looking for sound-wise. But I learned a lot about how to work with composers, and that was really, really helpful for me, too.
That's cool. You guys clearly have a great working relationship together. By the way, our texters have let us know, Michael, the thing on your shirt is called an adapter. So that's the official name. I thought it would have a cooler name than that.
Yeah.
Like a Spugenhausen or some kind of weird
Let's
thing.
go with the Spugenhausen.
I like that better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, always great to talk to you. Excited that you're back in town to perform. Ardmore Music Hall is where the gig is. It is tomorrow night. And you're performing with Lulanas. They're opening the show, I assume, Heather? Or are you guys doing together sets?
They're opening.
Okay, so that'll be tomorrow night. It starts at 7:30. Tickets available at ardmoremusichall.com. So, guys, have a great gig. Thanks for coming on this morning. It's great to talk to you
guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You
Take
too.
care.
Kevin and Michael Bacon, the Bacon Brothers, on the Preston and Steve Show. Like you were saying, this album, it's got a more contemporary feel to it. It's got a little deeper production vibe.
It's wild when you have something like that where you're kind of known for one style, and you. I was thinking, would you have the guts to change it up? You have something that consistently works for you.
Probably not. I wouldn't. I don't know, but
I mean, let's face it, farts are our bread and butter.
It's what we do,
and we're not about to change it.
And you know what? Actually, I was reading because we had Ken Burns on earlier, and I was reading on the cover of the Philly Mag is Ben Franklin.
Yes.
And his documentary is all about Benjamin Franklin, and there's a section in this that's all about Ben Franklin and farts.
No.
See?
Yep. I'll read this directly. It says, on the subject of farts, it says, frustrated with the frivolous pursuit of much of the scientific establishment of his day, Ben responded to the Royal Academy of Brussels' call for scientific papers by penning a tongue-in-cheek demand for a deep scientific exploration of probing, if you will, farts. He had written, this is Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
It is universally well known that in digesting our common food, there is created produced in the bowels of human creatures a great quantity of wind. He said that the permitting this air to escape and mix with the atmosphere is usually offensive to the company from this fetid smell that accompanies it.
I love it.
One of our founding fathers touching on one of our favorite subjects.
Maybe as we talk about changing what you're known for, maybe Ken Burns does an 80s style, fraternity fart comedy.
I would have to watch that. I would have to watch that.
It'd be crazy.
You know what? Nick had asked him about the Phils and their chance of winning this season.
It's kind of in the bag, isn't it?
Well, actually, they're looking really good, right, Nick?
I am going to say this on the air.
Okay.
When this doesn't happen, don't blame me.
No.
The Phillies playoff drought is going to end this year,
right?
And I think it's very likely that they're going to win the NL East. This is me saying this on April 4th, when the season ends, Phillies fans in October.
It is on the record.
If I'm not right, I apologize, but I think I can say this with confidence. They're going to win the NL East.
It's as legit as can be right now.
Thank you.
How many teams make the playoffs?
Too many, by the way.
Yeah.
They upped it. So there are the 3 division winners, and then I think there's now 3 wild card teams. So I believe it's 12 from total.
Okay.
Yesterday's game, that was an absolute dong show, by the way. Absolute, just home run.
Home runs? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant somebody was whipping out their units.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Is there an exposed penis night at the park, or is it?
Not yet.
Yeah.
By the way, so a traditional part of the game may soon be going away for MLB, and that is pitchers getting hand signals from catchers for pitches.
Are they going to be able to take Cell phone calls?
Did you guys hear about this?
No.
Yeah. Almost, Steve. So MLB is increasing its experimentation with an electronic communication channel.
This is bizarre.
Between pitchers and catchers. They tested it out during spring training using some in minor leagues last season as well, and it could potentially be used in the majors this year.
So okay.
PitchCom system.
On the surface, what do you think about this?
I like the fact they do the signals. I think it's kind of neat. I think it's a cool part of the game.
I do too.
seeing them
It's
do
so
that.
firmly entrenched in the legend. It's an intrinsic part of the sport.
Yeah, and some catchers will actually wear fingernail polish so that their fingers stick out a little bit more, like Carlos Ruiz used to. I think he used to wear like
so
white-
the hand gestures can be read more. All right, interesting.
Or Band-Aids on their fingers, too. They'll do it that way.
Okay.
Is this designed to prevent cheating? Or
I think so.
All right.
It didn't say in this article, but that's what I figured.
The funny thing about cheating in baseball is that they will then find a way to cheat. Like there will be some signal interrupter that they have in the dugout that some nerd develops and gives to the manager, and they'll get the sign that way.
What I'm thinking of, Nick, is that they'll hit a hyper frequency that causes the pitcher's head to explode.
Do you
A
think
la Scanners.
Do you think they baseball? Do you think they cheat in baseball the most than any other sport?
By far.
Right?
I think that they just since baseball has begun, they've found ways to cheat.
Well, think of the Chicago Black Sox. Think of the,
Well, besides that, other little things like spitballs and stuff
tar.
like that.
Houston
pine
Astros
tar and
stealing signs 2 years ago with the trash can thing. I mean, and to me, there's part of it that's actually kind of funny that they find these ingenious ways to cheat. It's still cheating, so I don't condone it. But banging trash cans in a dugout in order to steal signs.
So, but I know what you're saying. There is a slight bit of charm to the creativity by which they do it.
Yeah. So the way that this works, the PitchCom system, is the catcher.
You're listening to PitchCom. Coming up next is a slider.
The catcher wears a wristband that has 9 buttons for calling the pitch and location, and there's a receiver in the pitcher's cap and in the catcher's helmet, and the channel is encrypted. And one of the fans,
Screwball.
one of the fans is 77-year-old Hall of Famer Tony La Russa. He said that he's very much in favor. He said, I think it speeds the game up.
Why not just give him megaphones?
And New York Yankees manager Aaron Boone also had positive things to say after trying it out. Another benefit is that the system can eliminate sign stealing, he says. I think that'd be the only benefit.
Well, yeah, before they tap into the frequency and they're listening to the commands.
Right. But I mean, if there's any other issue, I can't imagine what it would be. I mean, like you can like mistaken signals.
I don't quite get how it speeds up the game.
I don't either.
I thought it'd be more about cheating. They are going to have earlier start times this year too. So most games are gonna start,
Yeah.
around 6:45. I think cases.
Yeah, I mentioned that last week because we were giving away tickets, and the start time used to be the standard was 7:05, right?
Right.
And now they moved it up by 20 minutes.
Which is kind of nice. I mean, it'll end a little earlier. They're also talking about, this is not a joke, bringing in robot umpires. And they're going to do it in several minor league...
Killbots from Boston Dynamics.
Yes. Well, they're going to combine it with Black Mirror, Steve.
Steve, they have those dog-looking things running around.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Percentage-wise, I'm sure they have the figures on it, but percentage-wise, I wonder how close the home plate umpires are to calling actual balls and strikes.
Preston, the robots from Oblivion.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's going to take all those jobs, though.
I think the inaccuracy is part of the game. It gives you something to argue about. There's some subjectivity to it. Some umpires have smaller strike zones than others.
What are you going to kick dirt on C-3PO?
You're still going to have umps there,
Yes.
Like you'll have you have to have like the base umpires. You still need a home plate umpire for, plays at the plate and stuff, I would imagine.
But think of the extension of this. So in tennis, are you going to have a robotic umpire?
Well, listen, you have it in tennis. I mean, you have the thing that judges whether or not the ball hits the line. So these things are already overturned by computers. It's for balls and strikes, Kathy.
Okay, so the umpires will still be there, but this machine will overturn their call?
Yeah, I think there are 10 or 11 teams in the minor leagues that are going to do it this year. AAA, the highest level in the minors.
I'd like to start with cyborgs first.
Yeah. Nick, will it be contested calls in that you only get a certain amount per game or something
That's a good
like
question.
that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't care about them getting the signs wrong or the calls wrong sometimes. I think that There's
Part of
part
it.
of the charm is that umpires are human, and therefore they're going to make mistakes. And so I think baseball is a human game. Allow humans to call the games as well. That's just
they
my
don't want
opinion
your
on
kill
it.
bots.
And it's like any ref in almost any sport. They can call a game a certain way. If they've in hockey, if they want to let them get away with a little bit more, get a little more chippy, as they say, but they have to have leniency on both sides.
Right.
And the same thing, if they want to tighten up the zone a little bit, they can.
This starts the floodgates. How soon before you're sitting next to a Roomba wearing a baseball cap?
Right. Yeah. So
I don't know. I'm all for them getting the right call done every single time.
All right.
And
no room for the charm of the occasional inaccuracy.
I don't want a bad call to dictate the outcome of a game. It sucks. And like this is just I don't care that it takes away the purity of the game, but also in the same breath, I don't like the idea of
killbots.
No, I hate killbots. I hate that idea. No, but I like giving the signs to the pitcher. I don't like the idea of there being
It's interesting.
monitors.
With the perfect robot umso, what about all those people that love to get pissed off and get drunk and get thrown out of games?
Yeah,
if their daughter's 13-year-old.
Well, this way, Preston, the robot can throw you from inside the stadium out to the parking lot.
Launches you out.
I've been on the receiving end of angry because in college I reffed or umpired intramural softball games, and these are my friends. You know what I mean? It sucks being on the receiving end of that stuff, especially like if the call was a little bit close. I also helped. I was a line judge for the volleyball, the women's volleyball team, and that sucks as well. I mean, because that's like legit college. Competition.
I feel bad for refs, especially in the kids level, because there was a story recently. A friend of ours whose friend got thrown out of a hockey game. His 13-year-old daughter's hockey game. He was mouthing off to the ref. 13 years old. And at some point, did the ref just want to go, dude?
Yeah.
They're 13 years old.
Right.
What level of referee do you expect me to be here? I'm doing the best that I can.
I'm wearing.
And if it's not good enough, it's because we're at a 13-year-old's game here.
And please cut me some slack. I'm doing this for like $40, $50 a game. You know what I mean?
It's like
I'm doing it mainly for the fun of it, probably.
No, they're probably doing it to help pay their mortgage or their rent or whatever.
Or maybe there's a multitude of reasons, but for whatever, I like the idea of the cheer team for the umps and the referees and all that stuff.
All right. Well, anyway, speaking of cheating, and this will reel Kathy in. A TikToker has figured out a pretty clever hack for getting discount codes online.
That's not cheating. If it's a code, you earned it.
But according to Sparkle Girl 316,
Sparkle,
she explains that here's what she does, Kathy, and tell me if you think this works. She just inputs common girl names with a number after it.
Yeah,
For example, Katie 20.
So what does that do?
I don't know.
No, you're going to have to go through. I mean, I understand it. She's just trying to figure it out.
Yes.
There are common, like free ship, is one, or like the February 10, it means, you'll get 10% off or something like that. Like they'll do the month and then whatever the discount is. So there's common codes, but you'd sit there forever.
Yeah.
Well, she says it's a in the website discount code box, she'll put in something like Katie 20, and usually she can figure out one that works after a few tries.
So she goes to the site, and they make the option of sort of signing in and getting a discount. Is that what she's doing?
No, when you check out, there's a box that says enter coupon code.
Yes, all the time.
And so it's a code. A lot of places will use a common code. They'll just make it easy. Like I said, they'll use the month and then whatever percentage off you're going to get. So, April 15, and, in the month of April, you get 15% off. But you really... you are going to have to sit there and go through it. I mean, if she's doing this for other people and then offering up the codes, sure, that's fine. But there's a ton of other sites where you can go and get a code for wherever you're shopping.
Well, Kathy, isn't that what Honey does? I think you introduced me to it, like the Honey app that you install on your computer.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I got to install it on this new computer.
Yeah,
Forgot
and
about
so
that.
it pops up automatically. So Honey, I guess it's an app?
Yeah, it is an app. And so if you're shopping somewhere, Honey will, I don't even know how it works, but basically if I were to go onto my computer, I download Honey on here, no matter where I check out of, any online retailer, Honey will enter whatever coupon code is available for that retailer.
And it works.
So there'll be ones that you don't even know of, and they'll put it in and you'll get a discount.
So is this with the participation of the various companies? So they provide information to the site, or is this person aggregating all this stuff themselves, or people who run the app?
I would imagine it's probably a little bit of both, because they have obviously an insight to what these coupon codes are each month.
By the way, many commented that the hack was genius, and some even shared similar techniques. One person wrote, "Look on the brand's Instagram tagged pictures for influencers posting with codes." While another wrote, "Just search the company name and code. Type in the word, the company name, and then the word code on YouTube, and someone's code will be in a description of the video."
Yeah, so but there's apps too. Like I use Retail Me Not, and you just enter the store name, and if there's a code available, it will list it right there.
I go into Chode Liquor.
Chode Liquor.
Is that for this or just?
It's for booze and spirits and everything. Yeah.
Oh, not Licker.
No, that's it.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
It's a double entendre.
All right. Well, if you're on your phone, you can get a little app, I guess, right, Kath?
Yeah, there's tons. I mean, what she's doing exists. She's just offering another place to get it.
Speaking of your phone, taking selfies, a lot of people obviously do that regularly and post them on social media, but you might not want to do so with your front-facing camera. University of Texas researchers found that using the front-facing camera on your phone to take a selfie can make your nose look longer and wider than in standard photographs.
Oh,
really?
I feel like it makes your whole head look bigger.
Well, because the other camera tends to flatten you out a little bit more. It doesn't have a depth of field.
I don't know, I guess. But that's why I don't understand. I hate selfies. I don't understand why people post them, because a lot of times it makes everybody look like rounder.
Researchers also note that requests for rhinoplasty have surged amid the popularity of selfies. On average, the nose appeared 6.4% longer in selfies taken from 12 inches away and 4.3% longer in selfies taken 18 inches away compared to photos taken on a digital camera. So this is just on your phone. Selfies also lead to the chin appearing shorter and the nose appearing wider.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like the chin shorter, so it's sort of rounding out your face.
So they're showing examples of this on this display that we have up on the screen here in the studio.
Yeah.
That seems like a dramatic shift.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I mean, so you look at the all the way to the left.
Yeah.
On the top, she has a short black haircut, and when she uses the different camera, she has long blonde hair and different.
That is bizarre.
Steve.
No, those are different. Those are different people altogether.
It's two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyhow, yes. So selfies. Like I said, this is according to study leader Dr. Bardia Armak, said that as the popularity of selfie photography increases, it is crucial to understand how they distort facial features and how patients use them to communicate. In addition, our findings provide data for manufacturers to improve the societal impact of smartphone cameras. And we need to increase awareness of how false perceptions on selfies may affect rhinoplasty requests, perceptions of self-image, and subsequent depression and anxiety.
What I found depressing was the fact that they have like young girls going to plastic surgeons with their Instagram filters. And I want to look like this.
Yeah.
I know. Casey posted a video of himself using a selfie stick, which I was like, at first, I'm like, how are you doing that? You have a camera person doing this?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen somebody use a selfie stick
in a while.
Yeah.
But it was perfectly hidden. Sometimes you can see that they're using the selfie stick.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know you had one.
No, I got it, I don't even know, a month and a half ago, something like, I don't know. I was posting some videos. I'm like, I probably should get, like, it's not only a selfie stick, but also a stand and stuff. So,
And it's just you riding your bike?
No, it's a scooter, Kathy.
Oh, a scooter.
It's a scooter. Yeah, I don't know. I was bored. That's kind of how
cute
it
vid.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I posted a vid on social media for my daughter and I were just taking a drive. And we drove by this place that I've driven by tons of times, and I've always wanted to actually see a little bit more clearly.
Right.
It's a quarry in East Norton.
I like quarries.
It's called the Gill Quarry, I think is the name of it. And so, they weren't open for business, but you can pull into their front entrance. And I'm like, let's just pull in there real quick. And they have a wall. And I'm like, let's go peek over that wall. dude, until you take a look down into a quarry, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
You don't realize just how freaking big those places are.
Where is
just
this
how
quarry?
deep they are. It's in East Norton.
So Dutch Springs, which is where I believe you certified
Where I did
for
my dive,
scuba, is
yeah.
where my wife did as well.
90
That was,
feet deep.
Right, former quarry that they flooded. I mean, this is pretty wild.
Yeah, so that
It
quarry,
actually looks like a stone vagina.
when they dug that quarry at Dutch Springs, they hit a natural spring, and so they built a pump house.
Yeah.
And they would pump the water out regularly, and when it shut down, they just turned the pump off.
Have at it.
And it filled up.
Yeah.
Wait, so you said it wasn't open for business. What is the business of a quarry? Like, what happens in there?
Like they retrieve stone. They
Stone, yeah.
like for whatever. I don't know what's in there, if it's marble or gravel or limestone, whatever.
digging.
Yeah, they
Yes.
dig and they take that stuff out, and your countertops might be made with that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
That is a big ass hole.
yeah, and you know what? And I got a lot of comments that were like, "That one is tiny."
Yeah.
Oh, no
compared
way.
to a lot of the ones that you'll see around.
There's one right off of the Blue Route. There's a quarry.
Yeah, because I've flown over it on my way back in from
That's
out
huge. You have to
west.
fly over
yeah,
one?
yeah. And I'm like, man, I got to remember where that is.
Yeah,
because I
but
wanna
I'm
go
right,
check it out.
right?
Yeah.
Because I would see the lights on when we were at Y100 years ago, and I was driving in from media. I'd see all the lights because they would be working, in the dark in the morning, and it looked like pretty damn big.
I remember my dad taking me. He had like some sort of like barbecue. It was like a work barbecue years and years. I was a kid, and so this barbecue playground area was right next to a quarry, and I mean I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I had no business going to the quarry edge, but I did. I would love to. I have no idea.
I want to take a tour of a quarry.
Yeah, and this one was big, and it was filled with water. It was not. Where's Dutch Springs?
Oh my God,
it's out west.
Yeah, I haven't been out there in a while, but
way far
west.
Yeah, I feel like this was closer to Bucks County, but I have no idea.
Well, so I was just going to say, there was one in Bucks County. I never went to it, but my brothers used to go, and people would like swim in it. Like people would go there for the day, swim in it. There was a cliff. They all used to do like backflips off the cliff. But isn't that
It's dangerous.
Well, I was just to say, like, what you don't
Well,
even know what's underneath.
You saw Coda, right? The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they go jumping off the cliffs, that's in an old quarry, and so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Berwyn, Kathy, and there's like an office park around it now. And people, when I was in high school, would go swimming in it all the time. And the reason they told you not to do it, and I don't know if this is an old wives' tale or not, but there was still equipment underneath the water. And you could get stuck on it. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and sometimes, like with the Dutch Springs, they actually sink things like a fire truck and helicopters.
Yeah, they have all kinds of stuff for you to check out. But yeah, and you can jump in and not know what's under there and actually hit something. Hey, I'm going to go to James. Hey, James, good morning.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I drive a dump truck, and I just want to let you know that quarries they quarry stone, and then they'll crush the stone to different sizes, and then dump trucks will take it out to various places as is. Sometimes they'll move it to asphalt plants. They mix it with tar and pave roads, and so they do all kinds of stuff. They crush the stone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you've heard of a gravel pit before. That's kind of, I guess, what that is. So, all right, cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, and there's a bunch in the area. But this one I've driven by. I'm like, you could kind of see over the ridge when you're driving by. And I'm like, man, I wonder how deep that goes. And we were just driving. Well, let's pull over and take a look at it.
I think if you could convert one into like a party location, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yeah.
And make
Absolutely.
it look like the gateway to hell.
Oh, I'm loving this, Steve. Yeah. I think we have our post-radio career ahead of us.
Stop talking about your quarry plans.
Yeah. All right, anyhow, we need to take a quick break and come back because at 10 o'clock, your next chance to win $500 and MMRBQ. I keep wanting to say MMR concert tickets.
Yeah.
But it's called MMR's Concert Cash, and we will do that at 10. So be ready. We'll take a break and be right back. Bizarre File coming up next. Stay with us.
Dualdiagnosis.com.
Well, I never realized there were so many metaphors attached to a cuckoo clock, but I
think that I invented them, but they were.
But that's good. I can completely see that because I'm fascinated by little mechanisms and the artistry of that stuff, animatronic things, and all of that. Have you yourself ever designed a cuckoo clock?
I designed what I called a cuckoo clock wristwatch. Was when I took that clock and I duct taped it on my arm.
Okay, that counts.
this is a crazy watch. But no, I'm not a tinkerer, for instance. I love watches. I love components. I love things that work like that. But I mean, these things, you know, they're kind of genius, and the implications, like the humorous implications that they contain are kind of funny, and you just don't see them anymore. But if you look around my house, like I think there's one over there.
Yeah.
There's one there. There's one on the other side. So there's like 15 of them in here. But the best part is that they're all set at different times.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, just a different bird is coming out.
That's great.
And it will literally drive you insane. I mean, if you're not insane already, put up 5 cuckoo clocks. You know what it's like.
Yeah, you know, my sister's actually obsessed with cuckoo clocks as well, but she does not have one. Maybe that is a good gift for me to get for her.
It's a great gift, and they you know they make them battery operated now, but the ones that are really special are the ones that are handmade, that use the actual weight system to have the time tell time, and even the pendulum has to be hung at the right length, otherwise it's going to either tick too fast or too slow.
Okay.
So they're very complicated things, but they are interesting to be obsessed with.
I completely get it. Yeah.
I did not expect to be talking about those.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to expect to talk about this either. Are you wearing a Snuggie right now?
No, right now I am wearing it's like a hooded cape. This is like for outdoors life.
That's pretty
ceremonial outdoor life, and it happens to be 7 a.m. here in LA, and I just happen to be freezing. But I will tell you this: I am not opposed to a straight up Snuggie either.
No, why would you be?
Dave, who would you say between you and Perry? You guys are artists to the core.
Yeah.
Who's a little more quirky in their personality? Is it you or Perry?
We both have a lot of, I guess, independent thought, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I would say that, I would say Perry, just because being a frontman of a band like this and having to have that sensibility and be on every night and deliver every night, like I get to turn around and hide behind the guitar and like get lost in my instrument, which I love, because I did a solo tour in 2000, and I just came to learn that I didn't love it. I didn't love leading the band. I didn't love being the lead singer. I didn't love the eyes. I didn't love the pressure. And Perry can do that really well, and he, in fact, loves it. So I would say that there is a component to his personality that allows him to be that extroverted on stage and do it with authority and conviction. So I don't know if I would say he's more quirky, but I would say that he has what it takes to front a band.
Yeah,
better than most, I would say. And I think along with that kind of mentality, you've got to have some walls down, to allow yourself to be that raw in front of people.
Totally.
And while at the same time having certain walls up. So I think it's a microcosm of some kind of very strange dance that goes into being a lead singer. And, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best frontmen that have been around in the past 30 years.
Is it hard, speaking to that point about, because you let a lot of you out, with your love of the tattoos and artistry and the cuckoo clocks and things that are part of you. Is it hard when you are in the public eye the way you are, and you're talking about Perry being more up front and being the front man, but you are a personality, you are a pop culture personality. Is it hard to know, I'm going to keep this just for me, Do you know what I'm saying? Where you're not always revealing stuff about you.
Oh, no. I mean, things that I like and things that are interesting to me aren't really revealing anything. And those aren't like deep personal issues that whether or not I like cuckoo clocks, I better keep that to myself, or I feel exposed.
It's too personal.
Like I don't feel exposed.
Yeah.
But, I've also taken it upon myself, and years ago, like I wrote a book and I put out a documentary that were about very difficult things in my life, and I think that the intention and hopefully the joy of that was to help others feel less alone that we're in similar situations, whether it's grief or trauma or drug addiction or any of the things that I've been through. You know, it's I like to share with people that there's an alternative way, you know, and that it is possible to get past that stuff. And even though the demon of addictive behavior may be with you for your life, it's about channeling that addictive behavior into an area that can be healthy for you.
Well, yeah,
So,
I'm sober for 9+ years at this point, and I just know that it was important for me to see and interact with people who were living a sober life, a happy and content sober life. But then there were also other people that, you know, like musicians, Trey Anastasio being one of them. I'm a fish head. You know, he had been sober for a couple of years at that point. When I saw, I'm like, okay, here's somebody that's doing it. And I was able to gain strength through them. And so when you do that and you're outspoken about whatever struggles that you have gone through, there are people out there that really do hold on to that and gravitate towards that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I would say is that, you know, the company I'm running, Dual Diagnosis, is all about mental health. I put out a book that was about my drug addiction. I put out a film that was about my mom's death. You know, it does resonate with a lot of people sometimes, you know, if they've got similar circumstances. But, you know, at the same time, I'm not a doctor. And so those people will come to me personally and say, I'm going through this and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look, I already told you what I went through and how I dealt with it, but I can't advise, you know, like a doctor would. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's, you know, you need to find a team of your own. But I think that that's not the tough part. I don't really think there is a tough part to it. I think that as long as you're comfortable with who you are and what you've been through and that, you know, behaviors can change.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's all we're doing. Like, I may not be doing drugs anymore, but, you know, now I'm in line at 1 a.m. at GameStop waiting for the next thing to come.
Dude, all right. Yes, that's exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is the right way to think about it. We all have the same doctor. He's kind of the he's on TV in here in Philadelphia, and he says, if I have to, I will write you a prescription for a video game because because that's the stuff. To get that joy of something that doesn't have, you know, like you say, you're not smoking crack. You know, this is something you're
that's not going to kill you.
Exactly. That you can get passionate. Like, I love living through other people's passions, and it excites me to revisit my own. Your cuckoo clock thing, or just the different things you talk about. You know, that to me is something that people, they sometimes seem reticent to allow themselves. Well, it's just crazy. Should I really collect that, or is that do it? You know, because we just don't think that way a lot of times.
Well, ultimately, we're all here for however long we're here, and we are ultimately going to dissolve into the universe or whatever happens.
Right.
So, like, do what you love, as long as it's not hurting anybody else or yourself.
Yep.
Like, there's really, that this life was given to us for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I really feel strongly about that. And frankly, one of the things that I enjoy about life most is being able to perform with this band, and to come out and do that with you guys is what is that? The 25th, September 25th.
Correct.
Yep. I'm super pumped about that, and that's, I wouldn't be able to do that had I stayed on the path I was on.
Right.
So it's all, to me, it's all, this, I'm in the bonus round.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
I unlocked the little part of the game that allowed me to play in another room.
Yes.
I'm into it.
Dave, we're all excited about that as well. I wanted to ask, so every Tuesday we do a thing, it's called Tat Tuesday, and we give away a free tattoo every single Tuesday. And as a result, I mean, we used to do it here in the studio, and as a result, we've had several contestants and winners of Ink Master in our studio actually administering tattoo, which is really cool. Is Ink Master coming back to Paramount Plus by any chance? Do you know?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I heard that they were picking it up. That was the last I heard of it. The only thing that I can assume from not hearing anything is that they're rebooting it with a new cast. That's all I know.
That's all you know? All right.
I mean, in fact, I don't even know that because there's been very little dialogue. So I hear that Paramount Plus is going to pick it up. I guess they started a new streaming service.
Yep.
And, but I don't know. But I will tell you what's very funny about that is that Ink Master was a show that, I mean, it was on 10 years ago. I mean, it's hard to believe it was a decade ago that started, and we did 13 seasons. And then during the pandemic, Paramount sold a couple of seasons to Netflix. So now it's on Netflix, but these are old episodes.
Right.
But what that did was that opened us up to a whole new audience that had never seen us. And I started getting messages from people who were angry at me for certain people who got sent home 10 years ago.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like they thought
It's
it was
just now. Yeah.
Fuck you for sending Josh home. He was the one. Like, how dare you? I'm like,
Oh, my
who's
God.
Josh? I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's great.
But people get very passionate about that. I hope that when you give out tattoos, is there one artist that you use, or is there a resident artist? Or
Yeah.
there's a shop.
Yep. Yeah, one shop, several artists within that shop, and there's a guy named Troy here who is he's a big name in the tattoo industry in Philadelphia. Actually, he is responsible for a lot of the tattoo conventions all across the country. Yep. So he has a lot of guys and he's also super generous. So
do they get to decide what they are getting, or does it have to be a WMMR?
They have to include
on the throat.
They have to include us in there somewhere, and it can even be very, very subtle. That's all that we ask. So
Right.
yeah.
That's nice.
The rabbit in the the Playboy cover. It can be very discreet. So yeah.
Some are more subtle.
Do you
than
want to know
others.
something funny about this? Do you see this?
Yeah. That's the Playboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a quick story. I was doing an interview with Hugh Hefner. And Hugh Hefner was talking about how the bunny, well, first of all, it started out, it was a stag. It was supposed to be a cartoon of a stag.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
the night before the release, he couldn't
we have,
sleep. And he
about
got up
3
in the
minutes before we can do our MMR concert cash, so I'm not going to start the bizarre file.
No.
Give it just a moment, let it breathe. But I will tell you, we have a couple things to mention. A new Daily Rush video available for your consumption. It is called The Psychopath Law Firm. And apparently it's the Bundy, Madoff, and Barrow Psychopath Law Firm. And the description says, if you don't pay, each one of us will come and kill you. And you can follow us on Instagram for our first look at the Daily Rush videos, which are sponsored by Xfinity's Gig Speed Internet. And you can learn more at xfinity.com. Also, a pretty cool thing to mention is that Pierre Robert will be broadcasting live on Wednesday. Out of the studio, a live broadcast. That's a wonderful thing. And he will be at the Xfinity store in Northeast Shopping Center on Roosevelt Boulevard in the Great Northeast. And this is because Comcast earned this broadcast with their incredible donation to the Camp Out for Hunger.
Man, did they step up.
And so we are making good on our promises for the largest donations from companies and so on. And so Pierre's going to be doing a live broadcast.
So what do we owe, like 50 hours to Subaru?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, obviously we had to skip a year.
Yeah.
So you can stop by to say hello to Pierre and win some great prizes and concert tickets. So we haven't heard a live broadcast in a while.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's
good to get back to that.
Yeah, totally. And then next thing you know, we'll be doing one somewhere down the road a little bit. So we'll get set for all that. We still have about a minute left. I can't, man. I can't do the concert cash until we have the designated times. So we're going to have to you're just going to have to wait it out.
On day one, you want to hit it as close as you can.
Yeah. So you guys
So Kathy, you want to sing something?
No, I don't think so.
A minute of silence in honor of
Who can we do
concert
it
cash.
for?
Just ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that.
No, we're not going to do that. That is not a good thing to do. There was something else I wanted to mention.
Can I tell you guys something? I could tell you something.
Go ahead. Nice.
It's so quick. I'm really proud of myself. I made chicken noodle soup yesterday.
Oh my God!
Wow.
You made
like homemade, not out of a can.
Okay.
Listen, I get it. I know it's easy, but it was good. I made it, and it
Made out of a
actually
can.
tastes good. No, not out of a can.
Oh, not out of a can.
No, I made it homemade.
I thought about you this weekend. I was scrubbing my kitchen sink, okay?
Okay.
And I'm getting it as clean as I possibly
Yeah.
can. So I immediately thought of you.
Right.
And I was like, Kathy is so meticulous. Why can't she cook?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Because
I think
is
baking, right?
That is a meticulous thing as well. There are steps that you follow. You do them in a specific order. You get them done. and you have something wonderful. It's if you would apply your sensibilities to cleaning, you could cook, I think.
So I think that's why I'm okay at baking,
Yeah,
Steve,
because it's more meticulous.
It's precise. Like
Yeah.
with the cooking, sometimes you need to cook the same dish, a few times before you
Right.
get it right. You guys, I give after the first time, I'm like, that sucked. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's your cooking show.
You
Well,
gotta
that
try it
sucked.
again.
That sucked.
Well, that sucked.
Like that whole French toast situation. That sucked. Never made
sucked.
it again. I'm not going to waste all that time again for it to not be good.
So how was your soup?
It was good. It was really good. That's why I'm proud of myself, because I made it and it tasted good. And Jace was like so excited, ate his whole bowl. So
Did you
yeah.
cook the chicken?
Yeah. I cooked
Wow.
everything. Yeah.
Did you use your stomach pump?
Where'd you get the recipe?
I just looked it up online. I mean, I
Okay.
know it's like I asked a friend and she's like, "Oh, just throw some spices in there," but I can't do that because I'm not. A
You don't
cook.
know that.
Yeah.
Was it chicken breast, or did you buy whole chicken? And
No,
cook it?
I did the chicken breast and then I shredded it after it was cooked and then, yeah.
And they used an already made broth or
No.
stock. You made the stock.
I made the stock. I made
Wow.
everything. That's why I'm so proud of myself.
Where'd you make the stock from?
What are the little cubes?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bouillon. Yeah.
Right. So I used a cube.
That's not really making stock.
Well,
but go ahead.
there was only one. I used the cube, and then I did
Baby steps.
Different spices. There was like a mixture of water and the spices, and then one of those cubes.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's close. To make
Yeah.
homemade stock, you need bones, actually.
Oh,
you
oh,
didn't
okay.
do
Sorry.
that. Yeah.
Well, it was homemade to
But
me.
it's good enough. Yeah, it's close
I
enough.
put a cube in water.
All right.
That was
Yay! Kathy Romano, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, we can do this now. It's 10:01. Here we go.
MMR's concert cash.
Now, here's your concert cash keyword.
All right, your keyword this hour is rich. R-I-C-H. And you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter it. 3 ways for you to do it. You can text it to our special contest short code number, which is 45911. Or if you'd like to be entered for the $10,000 grand prize, then you want to enter it from the MMR app or at WMMR.com. One random entry will win $500 in our company-wide contest, and all MMR winners receive 2 free tickets to the MMRBQ. Winners get a call from Beasley. Make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules at WMMR.com, and it is brought to you by AAA Distributor. So again, the word is rich. R-I-C-H. Enter it right now.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, I got a few stories to share with you. We'll start with this one. A British bobby, a police officer, has been arrested on suspicion of outraging public decency after being filmed appearing to commit a sex act on a park bench. He was spanking it on the bench.
This is a Bobby?
Yep.
Not a Cindy.
No, it was a Bobby for sure, yes. The Metropolitan Police said that it was absolutely horrified and saddened by the incident, which was brought to its attention just before 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
Think how the bench feels.
The police officer remains in custody. The video went viral on social media. It shows the officer who is seen sitting on a green bench with his police cap by his side in a park believed to be in South London. He then looks over his shoulder, speaking of no one's looking, to check his surroundings before watching something on his cell phone and committing the act. The incident was filmed by a member of the public who, when confronting the officer, managed to note his badge number, allowing him to be tracked down.
Oh, say, what are you doing over there?
The Met Police said investigators worked through the night to identify the officer, who was then arrested in the early hours.
I was manipulating my tallywhacker.
Commander Kyle Gordon, who is in charge of the Roads and Transport Policing Command, said, I know that everyone will be absolutely shocked by this video. I'm absolutely horrified and saddened by incidents such as this.
We're gobsmacked.
As are the all decent officers and staff. He was smacking his gob, yeah.
This is my gob, and I'm going to smack
it. He said that they are contrary to everything we stand for.
Wow.
Yeah, couldn't have
At
waited.
least do that out of uniform.
Couldn't have waited until he was off duty. A woman is speaking out after a terrifying home invasion caught on camera. Surveillance video shows a naked man opening Krista Brown's front door on Monday afternoon and walking in. She said the man then got into her bed while she was sleeping and tried to cuddle with her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. After working the overnight shift, Krista said that she was taking a nap Monday afternoon when it happened. Home surveillance footage captured the man going into her bedroom where she was sleeping.
gonna make you feel so good.
Oh, man.
As soon as I saw it was not my boyfriend, I screamed and jumped and ran out of the house.
What a terrifying encounter.
She said her family was doing chores at the time and that the man opened the front door with her son, or the man opened the front door when her son was taking out the trash. The police report identifies the naked man as Jason Kendrick and said upon leaving the first floor home, he went up to the building's third floor where her brother Justin lives. Justin said, I kind of heard a couple of big thuds, so I went to my door to answer it, and, well, there was a naked man standing in front of my door.
Hi.
He seemed lost, and he seemed scared. Krista said Kendrick re-entered her home 4 or 5 more times before she and her family eventually got him to leave.
Hi.
And police said they arrested Kendrick at the house next door where they said he lives. He faces a breaking and entering charge. Listen to this. This is terrifying. A former British Airways pilot was sentenced to a year in jail after pleading guilty to falsifying his flying experience. He was handed a 12-month sentence in court in East London after pleading guilty to 4 contents of fraud and 2 breaches of the Air Navigation Order 2016, which regulates safety standards.
So how much did he fudge things?
He claimed to have flown 1,610 hours as a captain and fabricated training certifications while applying for a job with British Airways. Between April 2016 and March 2018, he was employed as a pilot by British Airways City Flyer operating out of London City Airport.
I was wondering if he just flew a kite and that was his experience.
And by the now collapsed Irish regional airline Stobart Air, which was owned by Aer Lingus. And he was with each carrier for a year.
Okay.
But there's an interesting thing that happened. So officials at British Airways City Flyer first became suspicious after an incident on the ground in Switzerland when the pilot pressed a button, quote, no qualified pilot would. This is according to the source that didn't have further details, but it's apparently he hit some button that no pilot would ever hit.
So there's a button like that?
I don't know. He was investigated by the CAA, which took legal action.
Who pushed this button?
The pilot manipulated the log recordings, the log recording his flight hours while working for a previous employer, Hangar 8 Management, which operates the same jet as the BA City Flyer. And he also falsely said that he had private pilot's license in 1998. So he could do the job.
Yeah.
But
maybe not as well as you might assume.
British Airways said the pilot was fully qualified and certified. The case related to incorrect information provided in references that he provided during his application. So
you, sir, are a button pusher.
You button pusher. All right, and then finally we'll end with this. 2 rocket launchers and a practice grenade were found in a trash can at a residence near a California school earlier this week.
So do those things go bad?
On Wednesday, deputies responded regarding a military ordnance found in a trash dumpster. The location was less than a mile from Liberty High School. Inside the dumpster were 2 empty, one-time use disposable AT-4 launcher tubes and 1 inert practice grenade that was cut in half. Although the launcher tubes are illegal to possess, they were not a safety hazard and there was no threat to the community, the department said. This incident was not an unusual occurrence, as we routinely find and seize inert military ordnance, they said.
What? And so I assume you cut the grenade in half to share, right?
Yeah, right. That's what you would do. So the hazard device team responded to the scene and collected the items. Grenades and rocket launchers are considered destructive devices by the National Firearms Act. They're also classified as firearms and are therefore legal with proper registration. Possessing a destructive device in California is illegal in California if it can be proven in court who it belongs to and that the person knew that it was a destructive device.
Do they think like deer hunters or something?
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe that was, I don't know if they consider that or not, but
Rocket
maybe,
launches.
the season's coming up and they're just getting ready for it. All right, and there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you. Keep in mind, we have a couple more minutes left, about 5 or so, for you to enter the word rich. It is MMR's Concert Cash. So the word is rich, R-I-C-H. Make sure that you enter that now. We'll find out if you win in a bit, and we'll be back in just a few. Stay put.
Preston and Steve.
Designer and said, I hate the stag. You got to come up with something else. So they scrambled at all hours of the night and landed on this bunny, which then became the most iconic thing, in terms of branding.
Wow. Huge.
And he went ahead to tell me that it is probably the #1 most tattooed logo of all time.
The Playboy Bunny.
I believe it.
Wow.
And so at that moment, I said, has anybody in the history of tattooing this bunny asked you for permission? And he said, no, actually, nobody's ever asked. And I said, well, then let me be the first. Is it okay with you if I get the bunny tattooed? And he said, absolutely. So I have the one and only Hugh Hefner sanctioned.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gotten this otherwise. But the fact that, what do I care? But the fact that Hugh sanctioned it and gave me the okay, and it's the only one that exists that's like that, was pretty special.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
That's
cool.
awesome. Excellent. Dave, we're really excited. Not only that you guys are playing the show, but that you took the time to join us on the program this morning. We really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to being out there. And are you guys going to be at the show?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. I would not miss your guys' set. So
We'll come back and say hello, will you?
Okay, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Dave.
guys.
We'll see you in September. Dave
Pleasure.
Navarro, guys. How about it? Wow. He's awesome. Super nice guy. And I bet you he could point to every single tattoo and tell a story like that as well.
What you're playing right here, I remember, Preston, when I first heard this song, I was like,
what's
whoa!
that? Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Hey, the Oscars were last night. How about all of that? So yeah, they had a red carpet and the full deal. The documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher.
Yay!
It's been mentioned several times on the show, so wanted to throw that in there. Accepting was the octopus.
It was going to be a incredible most ridiculous experience.
Wow. And there was no wrap-up music. He just kept sucking and clicking and doing that whole thing for a long time. So,
Is that him walking up?
Suction cups, yeah.
That's him walking up to the podium. It was awkward, but listen,
Yeah.
I mean, he was the star of the film. So.
It is a hell of a movie if you get a chance to see
I do
it.
need- I-
Think
I
of
really-
a nomad land, but with sea creatures.
They really should have put the octopus in the in memoriam section. I don't know why they didn't.
Did he die?
Well, he's an octopus. I mean, the movie came out like 2 years ago.
How long does your average octopus live?
I'll bet
The length of a documentary movie.
I'll bet they live longer than you think.
No,
And I'll
they
bet
don't.
who's
They
out.
live like a year.
They don't.
Really?
Yeah, watch the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
you saw it too, Kathy?
Yeah,
I saw the
it's
movie
great.
and I don't remember that shocking piece of
That's
news.
sad.
What?
Poor thing.
All right, I'm
maybe it
gonna
was a
check
thing.
it out.
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5
All right,
years.
see, they're already getting longer lives.
See, he could still
1 year.
He could have accepted the award.
I wouldn't have wasted time with this dickhead then if I was an actor. I got a little living to do, baby.
All right, Yolanda Hadid
I know Yolanda.
is in love with. Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
In love with her daughter Gigi Hadid's daughter Kai.
So she loves her granddaughter?
She does.
Oh, my
Steve.
God.
I told
So
you.
who got the scoop on this
The
one?
news is big here this morning.
Wow.
Don't go to press yet.
Yeah.
I've got something.
She shared a tribute.
Yolanda Hadid, granddaughter.
She,
Do you have a source that can confirm this? I'm not going with this unless you have corroboration.
well, they heard from an octopus that actually.
in a parking garage.
Yeah.
The octopus was in the shadows, but
I have it on good authority that Yolanda Hadid lives her granddaughter.
Oh my God.
would you go on record with that?
You are people who don't want this information out.
Oh my God.
He's scared, man.
I'm very scared.
And then he just walked away. That's my new favorite thing. The octopus walking away. In a cavernous room with lots of reverb so you can hear it.
I can see you're an octopus. Even in shadow.
He's got a trench coat on.
He doesn't even need a trench coat. He's got like this amazing camouflage.
Listen, he's running now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Casey, he just blends in with the floor.
It's amazing.
A dove formerly owned by Prince has passed away.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was big into the doves when doves cry.
Of course. But I didn't know that he had, well, this particular dove was named Divinity.
Yeah.
Female white dove owned by Prince. She died on Tuesday following a recent decline in her health due to her age. She was 28 years old.
That is an exceptionally old dove.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a cat that lived to 22, and that seemed like an eternity for a pet lifespan.
Yes.
But listen, I know that some birds, like African greys and so on, can live for like 80 years.
Absolutely.
But
They usually outlive their owners.
But I didn't think a dove had that kind of a shelf life, for lack of a better
I bathed
term.
in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka. And
That must have been
what
what
I
did it.
attribute my longevity to.
Well, longevity for Divinity.
Following Prince's death in 2016, Divinity remained at his Paisley Park and could be seen during the tours of his former estate.
Divinity conducted the tours.
According to the executive director of the Paisley Park tours, said Divinity's beautiful coo has welcomed visitors since Paisley Park first opened its gates to the public in October 2016. She was one of the enduring links to Prince for thousands of fans. She will be missed.
I would love to go to Paisley Park.
Me too.
I read there was a really fascinating article. Prince started writing an autobiography, and he hired a writer to help him write it. And so a year or so before he died, the writing process began, and then the writer spent a lot of time in Paisley Park. And I've gained so much more of an appreciation for Prince after his death, which makes me feel guilty for some weird reason. But just everything that went into Paisley Park and his life is really amazing.
I was just watching a replay of yesterday of him at the Super Bowl when he did the halftime. It was awesome.
Yeah, and his version, along with Danny Harrison and Tom Petty of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony years ago, is just unbelievably great.
The outside of Paisley Park looks like a
school or
you would not
like
you would
that.
have no idea.
What I haven't seen are pictures of the inside.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's like a modern Graceland. Like it's Prince through and through.
Our old boss has been to parties there, Jim McGuinn, because he's a program director in Minneapolis, and that's where it is.
That's cool.
So yeah, I would
Elevator inside and all the whole deal.
So in addition to Divinity, Prince also owned a dove named Majesty, which according to reports were quiet. Both of them were quiet in the immediate days following his death, but they perked up after hearing his music.
I don't want to talk.
And a new generation of doves will continue to live on.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I'm gonna throw up.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds
when
like.
Doves cry.
Yeah, they were upset about Prince's death.
I swear to God, I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my God! Hey, are doves the same things as pigeons?
No.
No,
They're related.
They are related.
Yeah, they're in the same bird family.
That's what I mean.
If you look at their license, there's a delineation.
Okay.
My dad and I used to go dove hunting regularly. We used to blast those things out of the sky.
Dude, I mean, come on.
We'd eat them.
I know, but still, it's like puppy hunting. You know? It's so nice and cute and peaceful.
They're different than the ones that you see. They're,
Okay.
they're gray
They
colored
kill
ones.
families.
Okay.
Yes.
They are all tatted up.
He was doing service to the families of Kentucky.
They are literally the symbol for peace, however.
Yes.
I was completely eaten by a dove today. Anyone kill them for us.
Son, we got work to do.
We beat it to death with an olive branch.
I have a hair change story that
That's a cool sound effect.
After splitting from her fiance, Dale Moss, Bachelorette alum Claire Crawley is ready for love and a new pink hairdo.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I saw it.
Yeah?
I've not seen it.
It's not over the top.
It's not crazy hot
It's
pink.
light. She says she wanted to show that she could do something crazy.
Okay.
As we observed, everything she's done shows she can do something crazy.
Oh, you're right. It's a nice pink. It's like an ombre.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. She didn't go. I was thinking like shocking. Like Katy Perry when she had super pink hair. Anyway.
Getting the tattoo of Florida on her forehead. That
you see that guy?
I did.
He's got a tattoo of the state right on his forehead.
Ridiculous.
All righty, buddy. Source tells us she sees her time spent with Dale as something of her past and is ready to move forward.
It helped me to learn about myself.
So she has pink hair now.
Okay, the ombre's good. I kind of prefer the Ganon, bro.
What's the Ganon?
Come on.
Ganon, bro.
Keep going. Do it. Finish it.
I'm not finishing
Come on.
It's Ganon, bro. I like the up dog.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Here's the tattoo of the Florida, by the way.
That looks good.
I
Man,
love it.
what is going on?
I know. We have a monitor that's normally in front of us. It doesn't work, and I can't see the photos when they come up. But yes, that's just brilliant. Best performance by an actress in a motion
we'll
picture.
give away to see Brent Morin Saturday, April 16th at Punchline Philly.
And the question I have for you this morning is, who is Hugh Jackman's understudy in The Music Man? 215-263-WMMR. If you were listening earlier, heard Casey talking about going to see The Music Man, and I didn't want to catch the understudy. Who was that? The understudy for The Music Man. 215-263-WMMR. You had to have heard it. We'll do the trash while you call in.
The trash business is a gold mine.
93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, what's happening this morning, Steve?
Well, Mama June's other daughter, Lauren Pumpkin Shannon, announcing she'll be giving birth to twins in late May. The news threw the Shannon family into a panic over who will be next in line to inherit the master outhouse.
Oh, my God.
Now, despite suggestions to the contrary, K-pop boy band BTS will not be able to get out of serving a required year and a half in the South Korean army. However, the army will consider using BTS's special skill set by employing them to tap dance across the heavily mined DMZ.
Hey!
And finally, actress Rosanna Arquette totaled her Tesla over the weekend by driving it into the back of a UPS truck. Arquette says the only reason she walked away from the crash is because there was no fuel to explode and because she was uninsured. And that's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we're going to see if you know the answer to this. He was Hugh Jackman's understudy for The Music Man. 215-263-WMMR. The number, and I will go to Brad, see if we can get the answer. Hey there, Brad.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. All right, so who was Hugh Jackman's understudy in The Music Man?
Terry Bradshaw.
Yes, Terry Bradshaw. Yep, I want you to hang on, Brad. Got yourself some tickets to see Brent Morin, who's going to be playing Saturday, April 16th at Punchline Philly. Tickets are on sale now for 5 shows with Brent Morin. Thursday, April 13th through Saturday, April 16th. PunchlinePhilly.com for tickets and information.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Brought to you by A.D. Moyer Lumber, trusted experts since 1939. A.D. Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. And you can visit them on the web at admoyer.com. Well, the Grammys were last night, and I'll mention a few things. We had a breakdown of it earlier this morning, but that was several hours ago. Record of the Year went to Silk Sonic for Leave the Door Open. Album of the Year went to John Batiste for We Are. Song of the Year went to the Silk Sonic crew as well for Leave the Door Open. Best New Artist was Olivia Rodrigo. And as far as the rock categories go, Foo Fighters reigned supreme, and they won for Best Rock Album for Medicine at Midnight. They won for Best Rock Song, Waiting on a War, and Best Rock Performance for Making a Fire. And there was also a nice tribute to Taylor Hawkins.
There was, yeah.
And
a lot
Billie
of people
Eilish wore a shirt with his picture on it. So
Right.
it was kind of thread throughout it
was nice.
The evening, yep. Best Metal Performance went to Dream Theater for The Alien. So Grammys are in the books now. Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad Smith revealed that Ozzy Osbourne tried to unsuccessfully recruit Jimmy Page for his upcoming album. Smith appeared on Ozzy's last album, 2020's Ordinary Man, and also returned to the new project. And following Led Zeppelin's 2007 reunion show, Page said on a number of occasions that he wanted to be seen playing guitar again, noting in 2014 that he was forming a new band. However, aside from a few guest appearances, he hasn't returned. But Ozzy was seeking him, and for some reason he couldn't get him. We don't know.
Maybe he couldn't understand what he was asking.
Maybe that was it.
not even understand at all what that was about. Coming to England's BBC TV this summer is the 4-part docuseries called My Life as a Rolling Stone. The special, produced in conjunction with the band in celebration of its 60th anniversary, will feature an hour-long look on each Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Ron Wood, and the late Charlie Watts. Neither former members Bill Wyman or Mick Taylor will be given their own spotlight documentaries, though. So each one of those is a different one.
And Charlie Watts had a section in the In Memoriam.
Last night.
Yep.
Okay. The Guardian reported that the films set to air on BBC Two will feature unseen footage and exclusive stories from Mick, Keith, and Ronnie, interwoven into new and archive interviews and performance, while the Watts film is told through his bandmates and peers, Rod Stewart, Tina Turner, Steven Tyler, Chrissy Hines, Slash, and others will contribute to
No
the
Hasselhoff?
films. No Hasselhoff, once again. Paul McCartney was caught while in helpful citizen mode while on vacation in St. Bart's. The former Beatle jumped into action during a fender bender between a quad bike and a white Kia. The Daily Mail reported that Macca, his wife Nancy Chevelle, and her adult son Arlen witnessed the accident and rushed to help the bike driver regain his composure. And that's all that I have that actually happened.
Repaired the vehicle, too, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
he got out and fixed
anyone
it.
have an Allen wrench?
Right there, right away. All right, and then I don't do a lot of music history, but this is pretty extraordinary. So it was 58 years ago today, and I've read about this before, that the Beatles made history by holding down the top 5 positions on the Billboard 100 singles chart. And there's actually more to it than I realized, okay? So coming in at number 1 was the group's current single, Can't Buy Me Love. It was followed by their cover of the Isley Brothers' Twist and Shout, with the number 3 rounded out by She Loves You, the band's second U.S. chart topper. In music history. And there you go. That is music news. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a second, and we will wrap things up when we return. So make sure you're with us.
Preston and Steve.
Went to Nomad Land. So there you go. That's our first foray into a very strange awards year.
It was. You know what was one of the weirder things, Preston? At certain points when they were going into a commercial and they had the nominees, they'd put the nominees up and they'd bring up their microphones so that they could sort of like talk and like. And there was, did you see Case? I don't know, because there was a point where Pacino was up for something and they were all, "Hi, Mr. Pacino, I'm a big fan of yours." And there's this cross talk that's not, no one was overseeing it. It was just like you were listening in on a Zoom call.
Wait, so the crosstalk was between the fellow nominees?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they did that a couple times. If they ever do this again, they should not do that again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
It's very weird. And I'm like, is something supposed to be happening?
What was great, though, is when Soul won for best, I think it was best animated. Who do you call it? Tracy Morgan pronounced it as Saul, right? He goes, and the winner is, and he goes, Saul. And then there was no reaction because there was no movie called Saw.
Right.
And then He realized that he had made the mistake, and then they had cut to the it was for best original song. But either way, the actors, it was Sudeikis, it was the people that were up for the next award.
Right.
They were having a ball with it. They were cracking up. Don Cheadle was making fun of them, and it was really, really.
I think Pacino didn't realize that he was still on the Zoom call because he was standing in the doorway pleasuring himself.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh no, you
How
don't do
awkward
that.
is that?
Feels so good.
Right.
Well, I didn't see that clip, but I did see. I saw a clip.
I'm gonna shout!
Oh my God!
Splat.
All over my walls and when my children play with their toys. You were expecting something like that. There were a few people who clearly were not quite up to speed on the tech.
I'm gonna shoot over here.
That was good.
Oh man!
Right after that.
Yes. Sorry, Nick.
No. This is also comedic. He fell asleep.
What?
Did he?
Yeah.
Was he asleep on camera, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, don't you usually fall asleep right afterwards?
Everybody's sleepy, and you've expanded yourself. So the camera pans across his screen, and listen, his eyes are closed, and he looks like he might have not actually have been asleep, but he looked like he was sleepy.
That was so much fun pleasuring myself.
Oh no, the poor guy. Getting old.
I don't feel so good.
That's hilarious.
I'm up on out.
So, according to a new survey presented by the Water Quality and Health Council, 51% of Americans reported using a swimming pool as a communal bathtub, using the pool as an alternative to showering or rinsing off after engaging in exercise, yard work, or whatever it may be. Even though 64% of Americans know that pool chemicals don't eliminate the need to shower, people continue to do it anyway. By the way, the survey comes as experts from the council, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and, which I didn't know existed, the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Oh, that's great. That's what Darth Vader faces off in the second movie.
Work to educate the public on healthy and safe swimming.
We shall crush the Pool Alliance.
Yes, my name is Mortimer Sanchez, and I'm with the Pool Alliance. And we think you're a bad leader.
The survey also revealed.
I don't care.
The survey also revealed that 24% of Americans would go into a pool within 1 hour of having diarrhea.
See, that's now listen.
Yes.
That's why public pools are just not my thing.
Spend all
However,
day on the toilet. You know what I need to do? I need to take a swim.
get some of that residual out.
To check the chlorine and pH levels for a personal public pool, the council is offering free pool test kits through its 15th annual Healthy Pools campaign on its website.
This is the Alliance.
This is the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Did you mention in this story, Preston, particular sunblocks affecting?
I didn't mention
You
this.
may go into the pool now.
Peter Cushing.
Moff Tarkin.
This is the finest pool you'll ever swim in.
What were you saying, Nick? Sunscreens?
Yeah, the reason that I bring it up is that I went on a snorkel, not a scuba,
Snookles
or a snorkel, but a snorkel.
It's the latest craze that's sweeping the beaches of America. Snookling.
Get some Beach Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Good
great.
outside, hanging tan, snookling all day long.
Serpent USA, please.
Oh, sorry.
I know what the snookle is, if I may suggest.
Had to snookle.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
Snookle USA.
Like California.
I'm such an idiot.
All right, anyhow.
Snorkeling.
Oh, yeah.
I went snorkeling, and you weren't allowed to wear.
Feel of a snookle.
chocolate dawn.
You weren't allowed to wear the sunblock that you brought. You had to use the sunblock that they provided for you, and it's because the sunblock that most people wear is pretty damaging to the reef. And I was wondering if it would be damaging at all to like a pool filter or to the saltwater.
These are all good questions.
Whatever, yeah.
Because some of the chemicals are pretty arch and can have that effect.
Yeah, and I've been snorkeling many times in my life, but this is the first time ever on a snorkel trip where I had to do this, and you weren't allowed to wear what you had, what you brought.
They provided.
They provided it for you.
Do you remember what it was? What type it was?
I don't. It was like an industrial vat.
It was called Reef Killer.
Yeah.
Reef Killer sunblock. A snorkel, by the way, as you're snorkeling, has a second tube that goes up back onto the beach so that someone could load M&Ms into them so that you can eat.
You're hungry.
So that's what a snorkel is?
Right, a snorkel is a second food tube.
Okay.
So that you can swim longer.
Everybody wins.
That's great.
They do have snuba. Snuba is legit.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Snuba.
Apparently snorkel is legit as well.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
If you can swim, you can snorkel. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Snorkel offers shallow dives.
Approximately 10 to 40 feet without cumbersome tanks and no diving certification necessary. That looks like snuba.
It does.
So what
hose,
what
right?
they do is, they have a floating tank that stays above the water, and you basically take the regulator down, and it's a long tube, a long hose that you can breathe in. We're getting ready to get recertified to go into a refresher course for scuba to get set for our vacation. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'll ask about snorkel.
Yeah.
Zombie raccoons. That's my thing.
Yes.
That clumsily walk on two legs and show their teeth are staggering around suburban Chicago, and authorities are warning locals to hide their pets. A spike in raccoons testing positive for distemper in Riverside, Illinois, is to blame for the bizarre sightings of contaminated animals that the disease causes to appear zombie-like. While zombie raccoons don't eat brains, distemper is highly contagious. If you're feeding wildlife and that raccoon ate out of your bowl or cat food for your stray cats and your puppy goes over, the saliva can be contagious.
They sent
some worse than others. Some on days where you had plans to play golf. And, that's not going to happen anymore. Tuesday, we're looking at 55 degrees and some afternoon showers. Some morning rain on Wednesday, clearing up later in the day, high 57. Then Thursday is a washout. We get some thunderstorm.
Well, you can't play in a thunderstorm when you're out on the golf course, but have you ever played in a downpour?
Casey?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Casey and I played one year the day before Keenan's live broadcast. We went to, of course, it doesn't exist anymore. Actually, it's something different now. It's called Sand Barons. And we played, I don't know, we got about halfway through a round, and
we were going to bail. It was cold, it was windy, it was rainy, and we were going to bail, but
I was playing pretty well. And I'm like, man, let's keep going. I mean, we were soaked to our bones.
It was pretty miserable.
It was a fun time.
But Preston played.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
You saw me peeing.
Was that the one where?
That was the one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know, all right, thank you.
All right. Anyway, I would like to thank our guest, Ken Burns, who's on this morning. What a great guy. Incredible interview, incredible documentarian, obviously. And Benjamin Franklin is his most recent subject. And it premieres today on PBS at 8 o'clock. It's 2 parts, 4 hours long. And he said it'll be streaming everywhere that you can get PBS material. So he was so great. And we had the Bacon Brothers, Kevin and Michael Bacon. And they are playing at Ardmore Music Hall tomorrow night at 7:30.
Bacon.
Tickets are available, so it was cool to talk to them. All right, we need to do our letter of the day, and we're going to trust that to Casey. You ready?
Got you.
All right.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by The Letter.
B as in Baboomba.
All right, and we will give away on Friday a pair of tickets, an autographed guitar, and a room for the night as MMR rocks Steel Panther, the Res Erections Tour. Saturday, April 30th at the Sound Waves at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. And tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster.com. And you can click concerts at WMMR.com for complete details. So excited to give that to somebody. I want to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Shows brought to you today by Acme. You can get your free flu shot or COVID-19 booster at their pharmacy. Acme, fresh foods, local flavors. Also brought to you by 80 Moyer Lumber, trusted experts since 1939. Your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. And also brought to you by Garden State Home Loans, your local mortgage lender, and you can check them out today at gardenstateloans.com. Don't forget that Pierre Robert has MMR's Concert Cash coming up for you next, and that will be at noon. And then it happens again at 2, and then it happens at 4 and 6 and 8. So we do it at all those times each and every day for the foreseeable future, Monday through Friday. Details at WMMR.com. Don't miss your opportunity. Tomorrow's a Tuesday, so we'll have Tattoos Day taking place. We will also have on this program a gentleman I've never had a chance to interview, Mr. Alex Lifeson.
Very cool.
Rush will be joining us, talking about a non-Rush project that he's a part of, which is cool. And we will also have, it's time to play Show and Tell.
Wow.
Some of us from the Preston and Steve Show are bringing in items to show and tell you about.
Just like in school.
Just like in kindergarten.
Yep.
And we'll have a good time doing that. So we'll have that and more tomorrow. That is it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.